And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, Phoenix has had over 53 days of 110 degree plus this summer. This last July alone, we had 30 consecutive days of 110 plus. And this summer heat might just be the new normal for summers here in Arizona. What you need to do is call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Hi, I'm State School Superintendent Tom Horn. Arizona has a shortage of teachers and a need to improve students' proficiency in reading and math. We need to increase teachers' income, which they deserve, and to increase students' proficiency, which is my highest priority. I'm therefore providing $40 million for one-on-one tutoring for grades 1 through 8, public and charter school students who did not perform proficient on the last state test. Learn more today at azia.gov.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Education.
KQSN-1050. Also transmitting on K25CDV at 99.3 FM.
K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
And welcome everybody to a Friday and final edition of the Daily Blender before Christmas. This is the Daily Blender Christmas Eve edition. I don't know what to say about that. We're broadcasting live in the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale, at the world headquarters for CRC Broadcasting. Right over there, that's the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien on assignment. He will be returning next week. You are the fourth dimension, and you're texting in on the text line at 888-368-1580. As we go to a full 6 o'clock tonight, a full show tonight, Keon. We've got lots to talk about. Last night's football game, Saints and Rams. Were the Saints really as bad as everybody thought? Because seems like they showed some grit trying to fight to get back in that game.
Yeah, they're not a bad team. They're just very average. So you know, they have some things that they excel at. I think their secondary is very good. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is a huge part of their offense, but they don't seem to get nearly enough out of Derek Carr on a week-to-week basis.
No. And they still owe him $40 million next year, I think.
Yeah,
right?
And look, I get it. They tried to take a swing at a veteran guy. They weren't in a position to draft anybody. But the fact is, Derek Carr was available for a reason. If he was playing at a high enough level, he'd still be a Raider. So that's the reason why, I think the Saints are ultimately disappointing is when you look at the various parts of this team, like there's stuff that should be better, but it's just not. And that's why their coach is in trouble. I think Dennis Allen is definitely in trouble. And
Really?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be this year he's going to lose his job, but he doesn't have a whole lot more time for the team that he inherited. They haven't done a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk more about that in depth. Also, the NFL has fined the Falcons for the Bijan cover up. So it looks like Arthur Smith in trouble. Not only is he on the hot seat, but it looks like he's in more trouble as the team gets fined today. Florida State, Florida State fans, you may be getting what you have been yelling about, and that's Florida State leaving the ACC after being spurned by the playoff committee. We'll talk about that. Also, the Pistons have made history, but not the way you want to. And you kind of feel bad, for former Phoenix Suns head coach, as he has got a team, and it's just a really bad team. Also, on this edition of the Daily Blender, you want to stick around because Keon Rose has he's got two different spotlights today. One, he's going to be talking about the college football signing day, which happened earlier this week. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. So Keon is going to fill us in on the impact of a lot of these high school 5-star and 4-star recruits, what's happened at Arizona State and Arizona. National Signing Day was earlier this week, and it continues on. So it kind of opened up. The Dodgers have spent even more money now. They have invested over $1 billion in free agency this offseason, $1 billion plus to fill out their team. And that goes along with what they already owe Freddie Freeman and what they already owe. Several players on the team.
Yeah, so, Mookie Betts and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah. Oh, Mookie's he's just making a bankroll, man. And Freddie Freeman hasn't done too shabby either. And then both of those guys, we saw what happened in the playoffs this year when our beloved Diamondbacks, I know it's not Keon's beloved Diamondbacks, and I'm saying are because there are a few in the fourth dimension that are Diamondback fans. And so we will definitely talk about that on today's program. And also Keon Rose's College Football Dance Party Bowl Edition. Yeah, that's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. So much to talk about. Let's get underway. Last night, I want to talk about the football game, but I feel like I want to lead off with the Dodgers adding this Yamamoto kid who was a back-to-back MVP in the Pacific Division of the Japanese League, and they have added him to the Dodgers lineup. This guy is supposedly one of the best pitchers some of these scouts have seen in quite some time. This guy apparently to the Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, and others that we don't know about all made they all said that they would sign him to a deal of $300 million plus to join their team. And he spurned the Yankees, he spurned the Mets, and he ended up playing. He's going to be playing for the Dodgers this year. And instantly, it brings to my mind, I wish Ralph was on the show, and I'd love to hear what he has to say about it. Okay, the guy might be a great pitcher, but he's never played at the major league level. He has no experience in the major league level. The guy doesn't do anything extraordinary, like throw a gyro ball or anything like that. Remember that pitcher? I can't think of his name right now, but he was a Japanese pitcher. Yankees picked him up. He threw the gyro ball. Where is he today? I don't know that he's still in the MLB. But this Yamamoto cat, accordingly to reports, and everybody's reporting it, agreed to a 12-year, $325 million contract with the Dodgers yesterday. That, according to Jeff Passan from ESPN and many more. Leaving Japan is arguably the most decorated pitcher in Nippon professional baseball history. Made his debut with the Oryx Buffaloes at 18, proceeded to a record of a 1.82 ERA in a 7-year career, reaching the comically dominant heights the past 3 years. But again, that's in the Japanese baseball league. That is not in the major league where these world-class players are all playing. And I don't know how I don't know how the Dodgers can outlay that much money on an unproven cat. Shohei Ohtani is one thing, but how do you put out $325 million spread out over 12 years?
Well, it's sort of the reason why, a lot of us are, when we invest in things, we're investing, in a portfolio of things, and we've got, so you got a 401k and it's spread across a number of different assets and stuff like that. And the more money you have, the more stuff you get to invest in, stuff that's riskier, right? Like venture capitalists, like they invest in things that haven't been proven. They invested in Facebook before any of us were using it. They invested in all this other stuff. And I think that that's what the Dodgers are doing because they have boatloads of cash. So they can go out there and throw 325 mil at a guy that hasn't done anything in Major League Baseball, because if it blows up in their face, it'll be funny. We'll all laugh at them, but they had the money to try. And if it works, well, then they look like geniuses. They look like the team that outmaneuvered everybody to get the next big thing coming out of Japan and coming to the U.S. in baseball. I think that
sometimes
that's an investment.
I think if is the biggest word in the English language. If, if this, then this. But it's not always if this, then this. If this, maybe this, for the Dodgers investing that kind of money in a guy that, okay, he dominates the Japanese league. Okay, there have been some quality Japanese players, and there still are quality Japanese players. And I'm not saying this guy is a sure bust. He might come in and dominate Major League Baseball. But it's not a proven deal. This guy has not done anything in Major League Baseball this could be the greatest deal, most horrible deal in the history of baseball. And the Diamondbacks over the years have made horrible deals.
Yeah, but this one has to be great. If $325 million for 12 years, he can't be okay. Like anything short of him being great is kind of a failure of a deal.
I got to tell you, they've made the playoffs every year for the past 12 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers are a good organization. Yes, they're a rich organization. Yes, they have quality players. Yes, it was a shock when the Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers away this season in the playoffs. But I understand Ohtani. But I don't know if I could pull the trigger on $3.25 million for a guy that's never pitched in the major leagues. And I don't care about analytics. I mean, you throw that kind of money at a guy like Garrett Cole. You throw that kind of money on a guy that has done something in this league and has made himself a name in this league. You don't do that for somebody that's been pitching in a non-Major League Baseball league.
Yeah, but the thing is, all these teams are trying to outmaneuver each other, and so the bidding war starts. The Mets know that they want him. The Yankees know that they want him, and this is how you end up at this kind of money for a guy that hasn't really been proven. But you're also trusting, the people inside your building. You're trusting your scouts and everybody that's been watching this dude and watching him for a long time to be the most decorated player in Japanese baseball history, and the guy's 25 years old, and I understand that it's not the MLB and the sports are just a little bit different, but the guy's pitching sub-2 ERA. I can understand taking the risk. I am not the most. I'm not a big risk taker myself, but this is kind of how a lot of people do business. Is if I have everything lined up in terms of my scouting department and all of that, and everybody is in agreement that this is a gamble worth taking, and you're a team like the Dodgers, you can afford to take it. I mean, it's not going to be something that the Nationals do or the Marlins do or one of the teams that are cheap and won't spend money. This is a gamble you take when your ownership is willing to spend money and you've done your homework. That's what I'm sure that they're banking on is, look, we did our homework and we feel really good about what this guy can be.
So let's Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 12 years, $325 million. That's not all the Dodgers are going to pay. They have to pay a $50.6 million posting fee. In other words, they have to buy him from the Japanese league for $50.6 million.
Good Lord. In addition,
that is one of the highest ever. And I say one of the highest because you say Kikuchi for the Mariners, 4 years, $56 million contract, and they paid a $10.3 million posting fee. But the one I wanted to talk about, Yu Darvish, who is, and we know about Yu Darvish. He's been in the league a while now.
Mm-hmm. Damn near won me a baseball championship in fantasy. Oh.
Damn near. And that's, I guess a lot of people could say that about Yu Darvish. Damn near. Damn near did this. Damn near did that.
That does feel like what his career is like.
Currently on the Rangers, he's got a 6-year, $60 million, and they had to pay a $51 million posting fee. But the one that was I was talking about Daisuke Matsuzaka, Boston Red Sox, 6 years, $52 million. That's the cat that would throw that quote unquote gyro ball. It was this kind of a pitch that nobody had seen before. This gyro ball, Daisuke Matsuzaka. They paid $51.1 million to get him. And that is the richest posting fee that any club has had to put out to get a Japanese player onto their team in Major League Baseball. Daisuke Matsuzaka. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember all the, he's
There's
coming
a lot
in.
of hype.
It reminds me of what's happening here with Yamamoto. And the Dodgers just put out 12 at $325 million. And the only reason they could do that is because the other cat they signed for the richest sports deal ever, Ohtani. Well, he went ahead and deferred, I don't know, 600 million of that till after he's done.
Yeah, so
he's only taking 20 million a year for the time he's going to be in Dodger blue.
Yeah, for the next 10 years, he's taking 20 mil, and then even after that, it's still further deferred. So it's going to be, for the how is it going? It's the 680 is spread out over the next 10 years after that. So. It's like a 68 mil a year after. I mean,
that's the only way the Dodgers could do this. It seems.
Yeah, it's because it's a crazy deal, and it means actually that he's not getting the full value of his deal because of inflation. That money is going to be worth less when he actually gets it than if he got it today. Which I noticed Yamamoto didn't defer a damn thing.
No, not a damn penny.
No way. You're going to pay me for 12 years, and you're going to give it to me now.
Yeah. I'm taking it over 12 years. 12 years, yeah. So there you go. That's the big news. 12 years, 375. And he's going to get every penny.
And
outside and I don't know that there's any way. I don't know that there's any way the Dodgers can opt out. Even if, let's say, and I'm not wishing this at all, but let's say Yamamoto takes the mound. On his first start for the Dodgers, he goes out there, he throws an inning, he gets out of the inning, but he goes out there for the second inning, he gets injured. Second inning, he gets injured.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers are on the hook. And let's say, God forbid, let's say it's some sort of an arm injury. And he's got to have Tommy John surgery. Instantly. The Dodgers are on the hook for that money. How does that help them now?
Well, it doesn't, obviously. I mean, this is the thing with sports contracts. Like they're depending on who it is you're signing, they're gambles. Getting a proven commodity is nice, but if you want to get that person while they're younger, you want to try and get more of those prime years.
I think he's 25 too.
Yeah,
he's 25.
You're doing a little bit of gambling. I will say, by the way, about Daisuke, since we mentioned him, like 2008 was like the only great, not even great, like really good, but Daisuke year. That was the year he was like a 2.90 ERA. Every other year he was above. Let's see here. Yeah, he was above 4, just about.
And remember, Daisuke was the biggest thing in Japanese baseball, man.
Yeah, it was huge. So I'm defending the Dodgers doing this a little bit by just saying, look, it's a gamble. I understand that. I get it. But I don't think it's wrong to point out that there are other ways this story can go, and we have the history to prove it. You know, Daisuke was a career 4.45 ERA in Major League Baseball. Was just okay. He's just all right.
All right, so the Dodgers spending more money now. They're up to I think it's $04 billion on 3 players this offseason in free agency. $1.04 billion that they have laid out. And that is going to be something we're going to want to keep our eyes on. 888-368-1580 is the text line. 888-368-1580. And so Hefty Lefty says, I've come to the realization that I am the Dodgers of I am the Dodgers of fantasy football, minus spending $1 billion, cruise through the regular season each year, all to lose in the playoffs to some 5 or 6 seed. Well, maybe. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this kid is, he comes into Major League Baseball and he just nobody can hit him. I can't see that happening. I can't see that happening. I can't see this guy walking in here and putting up 20 wins his first season. I think maybe the first go round of games against teams, he might be effective, but the second go round, they're going to have a lot of data on this cat. I can guarantee you right now, MLB West teams right now, the National League West teams, all of baseball, they're getting all the tape they can on this dude, Yamamoto. And they will be ready when he comes to their town to pitch against them. Chief Skoll on the text line says, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Merry Christmas to you, Chief Skoll. The Dodgers should be investigated for collusion.
Colluding with who?
Collusion.
You can't do a collusion by yourself. You've got to collude with somebody. Who would they be? Who would they be colluding with? They're just very rich.
Well, I mean, he did say, Yamamoto did say he's always been a Dodger fan. He's always been intrigued about the Dodger program. He always wanted to be a Dodger. And it's kind of weird how was it the Mets reportedly threw 325 at him and he turned him down to go play for the Dodgers.
Yeah, but
I don't know that that's collusion though.
I don't know if that's collusion either. And a lot of guys in Japan, like not just the Dodgers, a lot of the California teams, which makes sense. It's the closest part of the U.S. to Japan. So I don't know that. I mean, it could be something suspicious, but it also could just be he likes the Dodgers. Like it makes sense.
We'll have to wait and see. Big George on the text line. Hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday, TGIF. We made it to Christmas weekend. Well. The Dodgers have put together a Japanese super team, but will it win them a championship? I say no. Money can't buy you love or a baseball championship. Like the Beatles said. Also, Randy Jarvish is now on the San Diego Padres blowing games, not the Rangers anymore. Thank you, Big George. Appreciate that. Thank you, Big George. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we can talk more about that. Get your comments on the text line at 888-368-1580. Also, the NFL has fined the Atlanta Falcons over this whole Bijan Robinson thing. You know how they said he couldn't play. He was ill in this game. Yeah, it's coming back. It's going to cost him. We'll talk about that next here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Frankie drives end-to-end, scoops it up and in with 2 seconds left. Frankie Collins end-to-end. Join the action this season and catch USC, UCLA, Washington, and Arizona when they come to Desert Financial Arena in the final year of the Pac-12 Conference. Collins over to Lance for 3. Bullseye! Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball. Onward to victory.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
It is the Daily Blender on the Friday before Christmas, December 22nd. Only 3 days remaining. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Shopping days remaining before Christmas. Make sure you've got all your gifts. Be careful out there. It's crazy. I was out running some errands today. Had to take Cecil, the Wonder Dog, to the groomers today. I nearly got T-boned by one of them electric cars. This guy wasn't watching where he was going. I guess he figured, I have an electric car, and so, I could just drive through red lights and things. Anyway, Navy Brad on the text line, 888-368-1580 here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. To Jeffrey, Randy, and Keon, and the Fourth Dimension, may you all and your families have a great holiday season this year. Thank you, Navy Brad. Same to you.
Thank you.
Right back at you. Mr. Wilbur says, for all the nonsense that I send over to you guys all the time, I want to say Merry Christmas to you guys. Love you guys and wish nothing but the best for all of you in the coming year. Thank you, Mr. Wilbur. And I hope you have a great Merry Christmas and a joyous and happy New Year as well. Thunder to the Santa Barbarian talking about the Dodgers opening up their wallets again. Says he lived in Japan for 13 years. Dodgers were always huge over there going back to Nomo. It's not a surprise that Yamamoto would be interested in playing for the Dodgers. That's what we were saying. it's like there are certain countries like Wembanyama. He's from France, and of course, because Tony Parker's from France, Wembanyama, growing up watching the San Antonio Spurs, became a huge Spurs fan. Wanted to go to the Spurs. The thing is here he is. He's on the Spurs. I still don't. Keon, I know you guys beat me up about this, but I still think there's something hinky about this bingo ball draw they have, which is always in secret, and we don't know who it is, and they don't do it in public about the NBA draft lottery. I think there's something weird going on there.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with you. I just think that it's impossible to know, and the Spurs were so bad last year that they were one of the 3 worst teams in the league. Well, those are the teams with the best odds to get it.
Not very good this year either.
Yeah, no. Well, part of it is I'm sitting there. I actually am not enjoying watching the Spurs because I'm trying to watch for Wemby, and instead I end up watching, 20 seconds of Jeremy Sohan dribbling the ball before taking an awful 3. And I just don't understand. He's not a scorer. That's never been his game. It wasn't his game in college. It wasn't his game last year when he was a rookie. I think he's a great defensive player. I do. But Jeremy Sohan isn't your point guard. I don't know what Pop's doing with him, man. If it's just a Belichick thing and it's just the game's just not with him anymore, I have no idea. But you got the guy that's 7'4" under the basket. He's always open because he's 7'4".
Yeah,
Give him the ball.
Just throw it to him and let him score like 90 a night.
It's just unbelievable.
Hefty Lefty on the text line says Dodgers need to hire Hideo Nomo to the staff, and if they somehow get Ichiro on the payroll. Okay, wait. He says Hideo Nomo, and if they somehow get Ichiro on the payroll, the empire of the rising sun will be bleeding blue each baseball season. Are you implying, Hefty Lefty, that they need to hire Nomo and Ichiro just so they can have an inside track on all the, the Japanese baseball players that want to come over to the MLB?
Also, I don't know if you can get Ichiro back. That guy seems like he's just living his best life in Japan.
Dude, he's having fun.
Yeah, he's practicing with high school kids and working with them. Hit a school window one time just playing around with kids.
Look, if I'm Ichiro, he's a national hero, man. He doesn't have to do anything. He won't have to buy dinner or lunch or anything in Japan the rest of his life. He just says Ichiro, and bam, everything is covered.
There are different, because a lot of people in Japan are into Shintoism. That's one of the big religions in that country, and there are multiple, gods in Shintoism. Ichiro is known as the god of baseball in Japan. I mean, if it doesn't get any higher than that, so you just can't do better than him in that country.
With that being said, I wonder if Ichiro would ever consider taking over as general manager of a baseball team. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say I don't know. Let's say the Diamondbacks pick up the phone and call him and say, Mike Hazen had to leave. He got a better offer. And you know what, Ichiro, we want you to be our GM. Think he would even entertain the thought?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like doing any work is his priority right now. He's like, I already put the work in, man. I had a great career in Major League Baseball, played for just about 20 years. And then, I get to hang out in the Japanese countryside. What else could you possibly want?
I've never been there, but I hear it's beautiful over in Japan.
I heard that too, man. I'd love to go.
Big George says, I was heading to Panera Bread by the Carlsbad Mall today to get my wife some broccoli cheddar soup. Nearly got hit from a guy in Florida, from Florida in a camper van, blowing through a stop sign. Stupid Florida drivers! I don't know if Florida drivers are the worst.
I can honestly say, just of all the places I've lived, it's Texas by a lot for me.
Texas drivers to you are the worst?
Texas drivers, because just genuinely, they are crazy and do not give a rip. They will drive.
Really? Because I think that about California drivers.
I mean, California drivers have never seen a sign that they will follow. So that's also not good. My experience driving in California was definitely not great. But I still do not like driving on the road with Texas drivers. You'll be in Texas and you'll be, in the middle lane at 85 miles an hour with people honking at you to drive faster. Man, I drive a Civic. I can't drive faster. It can't go faster than how it's going right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've seen Keel's car. It can barely get up to 65. Give him a break.
Look, I'm dealing with 4 cylinders of raw power over here. You got to cut me some slack.
George, what it is, he's from Florida and he's in a camper van. Probably his pet gator got out and he had to wrestle that thing. And that's why, he went right through the stop sign.
Get that gator back to his pool.
Got to get Freddie the Gator back in the old cage there. All right, so the Dodgers spending $1 billion in free agency so far. It remains to be seen if that's going to help them. I know the guy's a talented pitcher, and I know all the Dodger fans. I wish Big Ralph was on the show with us today because I'd love to hear his take on this. Ralph's got insiders. He's got insiders all the time. He gives him information. And so I'd love to hear what his insiders are saying. But the Atlanta Falcons today got news from the NFL that their budget's going to be a little lighter this year. According to the NFL and also Sean Leahy at Yahoo Sports, the NFL has fined the Falcons $75,000 and they've stung head coach Arthur Smith with a $25,000 fine for violating the NFL injury report policy in regard to running back Bijan Robinson's status ahead of their Week 7 win over Tampa Bay. You may recall Bijan did not play, and there was no real reason why he didn't play. He only had like 13 snaps, got 1 carry for 3 yards, yet he was not on the Falcons' injury report before the game. Questions arose about that, and they just said, "Oh, he's not feeling well. He's sick. He has like a flu or something." This is a direct quote from Bijan. I was feeling weird. I woke up just completely out of it. I tried to take medicine so I could be good for the game, but my head was hurting bad. I don't know how I was going to I didn't know what was going on. I tried to go in pregame, but then Coach Smith said, "Well, we'll be all right. Let's get you right." End quote.
I mean, yeah. So if his head was hurting Saturday and he didn't feel well Saturday, that should have been on that should have been on the injury report Saturday. And then if you clear him to play, you can have him listed as questionable if you want to. If you clear him to play, he can play. If you don't clear him to play, he won't play. But then people have an idea. And I think the league had to do this. You can't allow that to happen with all the money that they've got coming in from fantasy football and fantasy sports and betting and all of these other avenues. Transparency is the most important thing. You can't have a coach just messing with the injury report. He was standing up there like a clown, acting like it wasn't a big deal.
I get that. And yet I don't get that. $100,000, 75 for the team, 25 for the head coach. And yet some of the most heinous crimes against humanity are treated as though it's a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I understand what they did here. I just know that they also screw up in other places. Telling them that the league actually did this correctly doesn't mean that they're doing the other stuff correctly. They're not. When it comes to, players who get involved in domestic abuse things and players who are, caught up in sexual assault and murder sometimes and all of all the other stuff that we've seen NFL players get caught up in, and the league doesn't have a damn thing to say. They obviously need to do that better. But you can't have somebody screwing with the injury report in a sport where you've got millions of dollars coming in from FanDuel and DraftKings. These are official partners of the National Football League. The NFL has put logos on casino machines in Vegas. You've committed to gambling. And if you have, you've got to take this kind of stuff seriously. You can't have Arthur Smith goofing around with the injury report.
It goes to show me, and I don't know about you, I won't speak for you, and I won't speak for anybody else, but it goes to show me the NFL does not care about anything but itself.
Correct. I agree with that.
Does not care about women who have been made victims, who have been beat up, who have been abused, who have been mishandled and mistreated. But now when it comes to the bottom line of the Shield, now you start messing around with bettors and gambling. Well, we can't have that. We've got to do something to make sure these people understand that they can't mess around with that.
No, the NFL cares about the green paper. that's what they're most concerned with, and so their fines are all accordingly. That's the reason why you can get caught gambling and get a bigger suspension for that than you can for, I don't know, inappropriately touching 20 plus women. You can actually get paid for that if you're Deshaun Watson. So I understand
on a video kicking a woman who's on her knees already, just kick her.
Yeah, or you could be Ray Rice and punch your fiance in the face. And guess what? The league will cover it up for you. All of that stuff happens. It does. And I think just because they did this doesn't mean that they're off the hook for the way that they've handled just about everything else, because they're very bad at it.
And let's see here. Lost Toby on the text line says at 888-368-1580 says, breaking news, the NFL is still run by POS.
About 32 of them. I mean, these people, if you are there clawing and scratching your way to the top business in the competitive world we live in today, you squashed a lot of people and you probably stabbed a lot of people in the back to get to where you are. I don't know how else you get to $1 billion. $1 million, if you work real hard for a long time, you could do that. $1 billion, you stabbed people in the back and things of that nature. Absolutely. So it's not shocking that when those are the people running the league, what they're more worried about is going to be the gambling, because that's going to affect the cash flow. I mean, let's not make it any mistake about this. Like, Daniel Snyder is no longer the owner of the Washington Commanders, not because he's a bad person, which he is. I mean, the culture of mistreating women that happened at FedEx Field and at Ashburn, where their practice facilities are, that stuff is heinous, and the league didn't lift a finger to stop it. Daniel Snyder started messing with the league's money, and that's why he's not the owner of that team anymore. And that's the reason why the Falcons are getting fined here, because you mess with the money, you mess with the cash flow. That's what the league's going to get you for.
$100,000 fine in total, 75 to the team, 25 to the head coach. When we come back, we will talk a little college football, as today Florida State announces that they have begun the process of leaving the ACC and how that's going to affect college football. And later on the show, Keon Rose's college football dance party bowl edition. That's coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey. You need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get the 2023 Nissan Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy among gas engines. Availability is limited. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. Auto Pacific segmentation, excluding hybrids and electric vehicles. 2023 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2023 Nissan Rogue. As shown, Nissan Rogue Platinum all-wheel drive, 28 city, 34 highway. Actual mileage may vary.
Screen time's over.
Be home by 11?
Put your phone down while we're eating.
When parents set boundaries, keep track of where their kids go, and talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking and drugs, they keep their kids safe. Visit TalkNowAZ.com. Be the influence. Talk early. Talk often. Talk now.
Thanks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet. Be sure to check out You Better You Bet for all the insight on how to beat the spreads and everything you need to cash those tickets. Weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
It's the Cook on the text line at 888-368-1580 here on the Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Want to wish sweet tidings to Comfort and Joy. He must be a home and garden salesman because every time I see him, he'll ask me if I want to buy. No, I can't. I can't. I thought you were doing something for the fourth dimension. Kiss to Cook. You know I can't say that on the radio. Big George on the text line says, for the record, although I may be living in California, I drive. There it is. I drive like I did when I was living in Arizona. Needless to say, I drive too slow and carefully for people out here. Thank you, Big George, for that. 888-368-1580. Thundar to the Santa Barbarian has some insight from Dodger fans regarding this $1.1 billion layout we were talking about at the top of the show here. From one Dodger fan's perspective, we will see how the Yamamoto move plays out in the years to come. I'm not so worried about the money because the Dodgers will print money in Japan next year. Almost every game will be on Japanese TV. As for the hate from the rest of the league, well, we get all of that anyway, even when the Astros cheat. So I don't think we'll need to care about what the league thinks. Let's go Dodgers. Thank you, Thundar. I mean, I hope you didn't hear any hate on our last show before Christmas here from Keon or myself. Was I spewing hate, Keon? I don't think I was.
No, I think you were just concerned about whether or not it was worth it to pay $325 million to a guy who's an unproven commodity. That's basically all we talked about.
That's all I was saying.
We never got to the hate portion of this, but
I mean, I didn't come out and say, of course, the Dodgers just throw money at it and just try to, fix it by throwing money at it. They're trying to buy another championship. I didn't say that.
I mean, and that's what the rules allow for. So I don't have a problem with it.
Hefty Lefty has perplexed me here, Keon. Hefty Lefty has perplexed me here, and I don't understand what's going on. I think it might my eyeglasses maybe.
Uh-oh.
He says, in regards to Sochan,
Jeremy Sohan. That's what we're talking about with the Spurs.
Sohan. Okay.
Yeah.
On the Spurs, I think Pop may be trying to inflate his numbers this year to increase trade value to build around Wemby. Of course, I could be completely wrong, but the thought did cross my mind just now.
But I think every team needs a Jeremy Sohan type guy. I don't know why they try to inflate his value to trade him. That's one of the guys you use to build around Wemby. That's like one of the Spurs' better draft picks in recent years. I wouldn't try to move on from him. I mean, before this season started, I would have told you maybe I wouldn't want to move on from Keldon Johnson. I'm not so sure about that anymore. But, you know, like I think Sohan's a keeper. I just don't want him being my point guard.
Right now, it seems like all the legendary coaches, Bill Belichick, and now we're talking about Pop, you know, some of the older managers in baseball, some of the older head coaches in hockey seem to be that what I keep hearing attached with these guys is when media or anybody talks about them, and we're not media here on the Daily Blender. Oh, no, dear God, we're just a couple of dudes sitting around talking sports with our friends, the Fourth Dimension. But it seems like has the game passed them by? I mean, you even said, has the game kind of passed Pop by?
And I've asked the same thing about Bill too. And it's not because it's because of how great they were. Like I saw how great Pop was at his peak, how savvy he could be making changes, all the adjustments he would make before games, during games, you know, over the course of a season. He always seemed to be a few steps ahead of everybody. And now there's he's forcing something with his team that's not helping. You know, you've got this young player that is basically a unicorn. We've never seen a Victor Wembanyama. We may never see another guy like that again. And he's just not being used really. There are times where he'll do it, like when the mismatch is obvious, like, you know, unfortunately when they played the Suns, you know, and you just know that he's bigger inside and tougher. Yeah, go ahead and get Wemby the ball. But there are times where he's going up against these other top centers, and you can see how fired up he gets to go up against a Joel Embiid and a Nikola Jokic. Like Wemby really wants to prove himself against these top guys. And Pop is like, nope, we're going to have the worst version of our offense. If it were better options than Wemby, I get it. But the things that they're doing are not better options. They're just giving it to your guy that's 7 feet tall. I don't understand why that would be the case.
About a minute ago on the text line, Lost Toby just simply said, Dodgers can go blow one. The balloon? Was that one of those blow tests the highway patrol has when you're drinking and driving?
Let's go with that one. Let's go with that.
Chief Skull says, I hate the Dodgers trying to buy a championship. Hate the Lakers, Yankees, Mets, and more.
Oh, I don't hate the Mets when they try to buy a championship. It never works. I mean, so
Merry Christmas, Chief Skull.
Everybody else, I get your point. The Mets, no, it's always funny when the Mets try.
Let's see. Your Big George question for Keon Rose, 1580 The Fanatic and 99.3 FM. No, Big George, you got to have it right. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Okay, so you got to get it right. How did people drive in Tennessee? Were they courteous like the South has a reputation for, or were they all driving drunk on Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey?
No, they were pretty courteous. I didn't mind driving in Tennessee. I will say that nobody in that state uses their signals ever. So that's a little confusing. And of course, you just got to beware of people who are not exactly sure when, you know, they're going to get onto a busy road. They're not exactly sure how to time getting out there. Like when you're really close to them and they're about to turn onto the road, that's when they turn. They turn like right before you get there, and then you're slamming on your brakes. You might as well just start braking when you see them waiting, because you know that's going to happen. That's the worst thing about driving in Tennessee.
You think they're confused?
Yeah, like they're just not sure of the timing of when they're supposed to merge. So it just seems like they merge at the last second or turn right to get on the busy road at the last second, cutting you off. But I don't even think they're doing it because they're mean. It's just I have no idea why they do it. I think probably because of all those winding Tennessee roads. It's already kind of hard to see where you're going anyway.
Huh. I'd kind of like to go back there.
It's pretty nice though. I mean, like they're not crazy drivers, they're not bad drivers, and nobody's mean. So I never had a problem driving there. That's just my only complaint.
Got a good friend, Harlan Lopa, that lives in Tennessee. Maybe I need to go back and see him. H-Bomb, as we used to call him.
Oh, nice. It's a cool nickname.
H-Bomb, Harlan Loper. If you're missing, I miss you, man. If you're listening, I miss you, man. Thundar, the Santa Barbarian, says on the text line, hey, Randy, I did not hear any hate directed towards the Dodgers from you today. Everything you said was legit, and we will see if the Dodgers spending spree is worth it or not in the future. I have heard hate directed towards the Dodgers on the blender in the past through various sources. Well, listen, during the season, I hate the damn Dodgers.
Like when you're playing, yeah.
Yeah, during the season, I'm a legit anti-Dodger. And I have no qualm in saying that here, Thundar. But it's all in a good competitive fun. It has nothing to do with the legitimacy of watching the Dodgers spend $1 billion, $375 million of that on a guy that's not proven in the MLB. That has no hate attached to it, whatever. But I mean, when April comes in, it's for real. Oh, I know. Make no mistake, I hate the Dodgers. And Jeffrey absolutely despises the New York Yankees. Hates them.
And that's in season or out of season.
Oh, yeah. If you say Yankee to Jeffrey, he gets this look, even in the hallways of the CRC Mega Center. He gets this look. And you need to go away because things will start flying in the hallways. Mr. Wilbur says, hi, guys. Looking forward to having a full segment in the 4:00 hour dedicated to the Alamo Bowl on December 28th. I don't see how you can do that, Mr. Wilbur. See, I don't know how you can be looking forward to anything.
Oh, my God.
Hefty Lefty on the text line. Merry Christmas there, by the way, Mr. Wilbur. Can't believe I just did. I don't normally.
That's normally Jeffrey's territory.
Yeah. I'm not usually like. I'm sorry, Mr. Wilbur.
Doesn't mean it wasn't funny.
Well, okay.
So there's that.
Look, Mr. I love you, Mr. Wilbur. We talked for how long at Dave & Buster's on the draft day? We were talking for so long. That was so fun to meet you. I still can't see how you can look forward to anything. Hefty Lefty. Miss Kim is going to
have some words later, I'm sure.
Hearing about that later. Hefty Lefty says, North Dakota is my favorite place to drive. North Dakota, eh? You can't hit anything even if you try. There just isn't anything but sunflower fields and some bison. They tend to stay off the highway, though. Do they? Because I've seen pictures of bison, a.k.a. buffalo, on the highway there at Jellystone Park where Yogi Bear lives. I've seen the bison out there. And I've also seen the idiots who have been told repeatedly stay away from the buffalo/bison. And they still go up and take pictures and try to pet these wild beasts that weigh more sometimes than a city bus. And they end up dying because they get gored to death. And they can't understand, their families can't understand why they got killed. That's like going up to a grizzly bear. Oh, isn't he cute? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
888-368-1580. Florida State has begun the process, Keon, of leaving the ACC. What does this mean to college football? And we could talk about this around the corner, but what does this mean for college football if Florida State leaves the ACC?
I mean, the short answer is ACC is going to start the process of falling apart.
Are they going to end up like the Pac-12?
It's possible because if you're Florida State and you're leaving, and we'll get into the reasons why would it be that hard to believe that it's going to be Clemson following pretty soon? And then you're weakening the conference as a basketball conference. So does that mean you get to hang on to North Carolina, Duke, NC State, Louisville? Yeah, this could be a dangerous situation for the ACC.
All right, we'll talk about that and so much more. Don't forget, in the 5 o'clock hour, it's Keon Rose's College Football Dance Party Bowl Edition. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of 100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of 200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of 300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more, up to $100. Ends 2/10. Visit staples.com/print for details.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and iPad and Apple Watch SE all on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Act now. Visit Verizon.com. iPhone requires Unlimited Ultimate plan first. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line required first. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit. Up to $459.99 device payment purchase with new line on eligible plan required per Apple Watch or iPad. Less up to $459.99 promo credit per device applied. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
Steve Jurich here. After working in financial services for over 20 years, I finally confirmed what investors really want, including me. And it's simple. All they're asking for is 20% annual return with no risk and 100% liquidity. Here's the problem. A money market is safe and liquid, but offers almost zero yield. Mutual funds and ETFs are liquid with upside potential, but aren't safe. A carefully selected next-generation index annuity through IQ Wealth may offer 10% ample liquidity, principal protection, and a lifetime income yield potentially double to triple that of quality bonds. By yielding more income using fewer dollars, our system allocates more money for you for capital growth. It's a winning combination.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the claims paying ability of the insurer, so compare with Steve. 480-902-3333. Call Steve now.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
This is KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240 U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
It is the Daily Blender for a Friday, December 22nd, the last show before Christmas on Monday. We are broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale, from the World Mega Center of CRC Broadcasting. My name is Randy White, right over there, the sexiest man in sports talk radio. That's Keon Rose. We're very fortunate to have him. Jeffrey O'Brien is on assignment until next week. And you are the fourth dimension, texting in on the text line at 888-368-1580. And we are talking all sorts of stuff today on the Friday edition of the Daily Blender. Hope you join us. We got a lot of text on the text line. Get to that in a minute. We started a conversation before the end of last hour where Florida State has begun the process of abandoning the ACC. Now, let me be quick to speak here, because I know, Keon, you have a lot to say about this. And I know this is going to have a huge effect on college football, because this could mean the ACC could go to the way of the Pac-12. We already know about how Washington State and Oregon State left behind by all the other schools, and they are now joining up with the West Coast Conference. And I don't know what that's going to look like for them. But the Florida State University, who has been a bit upset over the last several years about monetary dispersion with the ACC, and you go and have a perfect season under Mike Norvell, your head coach, former ASU Sun Devil offensive coordinator. Mike Norvell is still heartbroken over this, spurning by the College Football Playoff Committee. Even though, look, Florida State has suffered some drastic and catastrophic losses, but they had their third string quarterback in, and he played a hell of a game. And they ended up winning their 13th game. And quite frankly, I think by all the rules and guidelines of the College Football Playoff Committee, instead of just going, well, if you were a college football team, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear why this 13-0 team didn't make it into the College Football Playoff Series. Now, a lot of talking heads claiming to be experts say, just everybody, all you bleeding hearts, just shut up because the College Football Playoff Committee got it right. Well, I don't have to say that because I have nothing to do with the CFP. I have nothing to do. I have no voting rights. I have no insider, people that I need to worry about. I don't have anything to do, so I can say what I want. And I'm telling you right now, this was a mistake. So now, yesterday, the Florida State attorney filed a legal complaint against the ACC in a first step to exit the conference. The Board of Trustees voted unanimously today to take legal action against the conference with a specific aim at the grant of rights document that binds the Seminoles and all other ACC programs to the league and media partner ESPN through the 2035-36 academic year. Meaning the Florida State University would have to pay somewhere around $100 million to get out of this conference. And they're going to sue so that they don't have to pay that $100 million. What I asked Keon before the break was, how is this going to affect all of college football? It doesn't just affect college football. It could also have ramifications in the college basketball world as well. Not to mention baseball. We don't mention it because nobody really mentions baseball when it comes to these college, universities moving from one conference to another. But, I mean, basketball, men and women, college football, and where are they going to end up? If they leave the ACC, are they going to try to join with the SEC? I mean, it would seem like that's what they want to do, right?
Yeah, it seems like that's what they're looking to do. There's a little bit of a thing with Florida State thinking, with the way that the money is divided between these schools, they should get a little bit more money because of what Florida State means to the ACC. When you look for college football in the ACC, the list is kind of Florida State and Clemson, which, by the way, is one of the reasons why they're not in the college football playoff. It's not just, that their quarterback got hurt, though that obviously worked against them. It's another reason why they're thinking about leaving the ACC is they feel like they got punished for being in the ACC, which they did. They're in the weaker conference of all the teams that are in the college football playoff. They can all point to other opponents that they play in conference and out of conference that make their resume stronger. So you may have gone undefeated, but you went undefeated playing teams that were weaker. And Florida State is looking at their roster and going, man, we were probably good enough that if we did play in the SEC, we probably could have still been undefeated. Or if we did play in the Big 12, we definitely felt like we could have still been undefeated. So they're getting punished for being in the ACC. The money isn't quite where they want it to be in the ACC either. So they'd love to get out. But because the ACC is also such a strong basketball conference, this is going to affect how that goes, because Florida State has been a school that's been able to get to the NCAA tournament more years than not. They usually put together a pretty solid team. Maybe don't go as far as they love to go, but they put together a solid team. And basketball on the East Coast is sometimes, depending on where you are, like if you're in North Carolina, the basketball's the revenue sport there, not football. You're talking about North Carolina and the history of that school with the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils and the Wolf Pack of NC State. So those schools have a lot of money tied up and invested in basketball. And if schools that can do a little bit of both start leaving and weakening the conference that way, then these schools might not hold the ACC together. And so they're fighting back legally, the ACC is, to make sure that they block this lawsuit that's being filed against them from Florida State, because they don't want to see what happened to the Pac-12 happening to them.
So I think I misspoke when as I'm reading here as Keon is talking, not saying I'm not listening to Keon, because I am, but I'm reading as the FSU would have to pay a whopping $572 million to exit the ACC. That's because in around 2016, ESPN got involved with the ACC. And from 2010 up to just recently, the exit fee is now going to be $572 million to get out of the ACC. That's what Florida State is doing, to forego that 572 exit fee. And the ACC, as Keon just said, is going to vigorously, end quote, fight this exit of the Florida State Seminoles. I think that the indicator of what's going to happen is how this ruling is going to come out. If a federal judge somehow says it's okay for FSU to leave for an appropriate amount of money, thus voiding this, $572 million exit fee, what happens to ESPN, who's been basically underwriting the ACC since 2016? And what happens then? Does the ESPN go ahead and sue the ACC because they were unable to uphold their agreement with ESPN? And now one of the premier teams in the ACC, Florida State, is leaving, probably going ahead and causing an avalanche of other teams, like Keon said, to start looking at other ways for their universities to A, make more money, and B, be more relevant in these playoff situations, both basketball and football.
And Florida State's just trying to hang in there for the college football playoff to expand to 12. Because you can wait that long, then that's at least one grievance that Florida State has, where you go, okay, it doesn't matter now what conference you're in. With 12 teams making it, if you're undefeated, you're going to be in. If you're going to be in one of the Power Four conferences, that's going to be weird to say, but yeah, you're going to be in one of the bigger conferences. Like you're getting in now, so now you get a chance to prove that on the field. I think that's going to help with one grievance, but I still think the ACC is going to have to figure out the rest of the money stuff. That Florida State wants the biggest chunk of the pie, because quite frankly, yeah, even on the East Coast where basketball can be king, you're still looking for that football money. That's really where most of the money is in college sports. Football makes the most money, then basketball, then oddly enough hockey, before we get to baseball, which is why, unfortunately, we don't talk about baseball nearly enough.
ACC teams earn about $35 million from their television deal with ESPN. The Big Ten and SEC teams are due to make more than $60 million very soon. And according to Florida State, the ACC is locked into a deteriorating media rights contract with revenue that is far below other conferences. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go with this. Florida State's pissed that they didn't get elected to go to the playoffs. They should have, and they would have gotten all sorts of revenues, all sorts of money. I mean, when you break this all down, it's about money. It's not really about these kids got hurt and Mike Norvell was robbed of a chance to play for a national championship. It's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about money.
Yeah, I mean, this is Mike Norvell didn't file this lawsuit, right? The athletic director did.
Yeah.
And the athletic director, and one of the reasons why, people were going after Ray Anderson here, is because the job of the athletic director, among other things, is to provide, for the athletic department, obviously, but that means financially, that means making money. And if you're the athletic director at Florida State and you're looking at some of these other media deals and you're going like, look at what the SEC is making. Look at what Alabama's getting because they're in the SEC. Forget Alabama for a second because they're Alabama. Look at what Missouri is getting because they're in the SEC.
Yeah.
And Missouri they're solid, but like on a year-to-year basis, is anybody thinking about Missouri? Not really. If you look at the Big Ten, look at what school like Northwestern is getting. Like Northwestern wasn't even good this year. And Northwestern, because they're in the Big Ten, because of the media deal there, they were making more money. Like that's just the reality of the situation. And so as athletic director, if he thinks that getting out of the ACC is going to make them more money, then that's what's the most important.
During a 50-minute virtual board meeting, FSU outside counsel David C. Ashburn laid out the school's case against the conference, describing ACC's withdrawal penalty structure, which is $572 million, and grant of rights as a violation of Florida statutes and unenforceable. In other words, the ACC won't be able to enforce this grant of rights and this exit penalty. So the school feels like they have a strong case against the ACC, and we will have to wait and see how this plays out as we move forward. And look, I mean,
I don't know.
This could have major impacts on college football.
It could. My only issue with this is I don't know how strong their case is, because when you agree to the deal, and you agree to this is how much the penalty for leaving is, you agreed to that. You participated in that. That nobody sprung that on you. You know what I mean? They didn't say, "Hey, come join the ACC," and then you were in there, and then you decided to leave, and then they surprised you with an exit fee. Everybody agrees that if you want to get out, this is what it costs.
Mm-hmm.
And so now to really sue to say this is unenforceable and all of this other stuff, fine. But I don't want to hear any coaches from Florida State complaining about players going into the transfer portal and just leaving. Because you agreed to be here, you signed on the dotted line, you paid in. Guess what? You stick around. I don't know what the strength of their case is legally, because I'm not a lawyer. But from just my layman eyes, I guess I don't know how strong their case is.
888-368-1580 is the text line, and the Last Optimist is on there saying ESPN. I mean, the selection committee chose Alabama over Florida State because the SEC springs in more money. Yeah, I like the way he said that. ESPN, I mean the selection committee chose Alabama over Florida State because the SEC brings in more money. See what he's saying there? SEC is controlled. I mean, the college playoff is controlled by ESPN. If you look at some of these press days, these media days they have every spring, ESPN is everywhere.
Yeah. And you can't escape it. I went to SEC media days, like my last year that I was living in Georgia. And man, it's ESPN's everywhere. It's ESPN and CBS, and they are all over the place. They're just unavoidable. But I disagree that, I mean, Alabama would have brought in a lot of money, but you know how crazy people are for football in Florida State, in Tallahassee. They'd have done just fine financially. Florida State's a big brand too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you're right. Florida State, really, Clemson and Florida State need to be SEC teams. Really. I mean,
it's they're more SEC teams than any other team in the ACC, to the point where they almost feel out of place.
All right, Mr. Wilbur on the text line says, Randy and Keon, have you ever seen Stevie Wonder's piano? Yes, I have.
What about it?
He says neither has he.
Fortunately, you don't need to see a piano to play a piano.
That's 2 minute. That's two minute penalty right there.
It's terrible, Mr. Wilbur. Terrible.
So if anybody could make that joke,
I guess
it would be Mr. Wilbur.
Still. 2-minute penalty.
2 minutes.
Silver Pops on the text line says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Want to wish you all a very good Christmas. Why not a Merry Christmas? Why not an excellent Christmas? Why not a fun Christmas? Why not a safe and happy Christmas? Why only good, Silver Pops? I'm suspicious. Lost Toby says, my MLB predictions. All right, get ready. Write this down, Keon. Get ready. The Dodgers will win 111 plus games. Dodgers will lose in the NLDS to the Padres. Kershaw will win the World Series with the Texans. The Texans are a football team, pretty sure.
Yeah, you mean the Rangers?
I think it's the Rangers.
Okay, because Texas has 2 baseball teams, and the city of the team you referenced is Houston there. So
Lost Toby, I'm going to go ahead and pour you a nice brew. There you go. It's a nice brew for you. Hefty Lefty says, we were talking about buffaloes and bison. Hefty Lefty, who's insisting on using the word bison, says that's Yellowstone, though. Bison in North Dakota aren't national park bison. They know how to stay away from highways. Wildlife in Yellowstone has gotten too used to people, unfortunately. We're talking about the buffaloes that gore people, or should I say mindless human beings who get out of their vehicles and try to take up close pictures with these wild animals that weigh almost as much as a city bus. And then their families are somehow surprised and perplexed at why this cute, loving little buffalo would hurt their loved one.
Yeah, there are animals that have a reputation for being cute, that they are destructive. They are destructive forces of nature. Buffaloes are one of those. Buffalo
are grouchy.
Slash bison.
Buffalo slash, I think they're grouchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not angry.
Well, they're not, but like anybody, if you get up if someone got up in your space, you wouldn't appreciate that. A buffalo does not appreciate you getting up in their space. You know, it's just it's not a cruelty thing. It's just, here's a very massive, powerful animal, and now you're just in his space and you're annoying him. There's nothing cute about it. They will make sure that you're not in their space anymore.
They're not cute and lovable and cuddly stuffed animals. They will kill you.
And not even mean it.
They will throw you out of the way, and that will probably gore you. Or the fall from being several feet in the air after being thrown in the air by a bison / buffalo, the drop will break many bones, if not kill you instantly. Or they will crush you with their gigantic hooves and their massive head that has horns on it. They will drive you into the ground. Don't go to Yellowstone or anywhere else and approach a wild animal. Don't do that. Use the telephoto feature on your camera. Don't go up next to them. Please. This public service announcement brought to you by Randy and Keon on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Take the guesswork out of your holiday gifts. OmahaSteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and save an additional $30 with promo code VSIN. OmahaSteaks.com.
NFL, the Arizona Cardinals in Chicago to take on the Bears at Soldier Field on Sunday, Week 16, with 3 games remaining. The Cardinals, a 4.5-point road underdog to the Bears, plus 176 on the money line. Chicago minus 210, with an over-under sitting at 43. NBA, the Suns are in Sacramento tonight to take on the Kings. Sacramento favored by 3.5 points. Phoenix is plus 136 on the money line, while Sacramento minus 162. The over-under is at 243.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Jeffrey O'Brien here, and congratulations. You just made it through the hottest summer in Arizona history. No lie. The only proof you need is in that electric bill. If you don't have solar, I wonder how bad it's going to get next year. You need to call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
Can I open it now? I think you've waited long enough.
Yeah, go for it, kiddo.
I already have this baseball cap.
Not this one.
Look a little closer, sweetheart. Signed?
Yeah, buddy.
I can't believe it.
Do you still have that card all these years later? Do you have trading cards that's been sitting in a box for decades? Scottsdale Cards is who you want to call first. The Valley's card, comic book, and collectibles expert since 1989. Scottsdale Cards is your source to sell your trading cards and other collectibles, including those comic books you've been doing nothing with. We are always interested in buying your vintage sports cards and comic books, certified autographs, memorabilia, and collectibles. So what collectibles do you have stored away? They could be worth thousands. Call or text 480-419-2990. That's 480-419-2990. Or go to scottsdalecards.com. That's scottsdalecards.com. Or search Scottsdale Cards on your mobile phone today.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Grand Canyon University basketball is back for another exciting season. After advancing to March Madness in 2 of his 3 seasons as the head coach, Bryce Drew brings a team to the court this season, picked to win the conference once again, and led by first-team All-WAC selection Gabe McLaughlin and WAC preseason Player of the Year Ray Harrison. Check out the schedule at gculopes.com to find matchups with San Francisco, DePaul, Liberty, and last year's national championship runner-up, the San Diego State Aztecs. Join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on The Fanatic, the home of Lopes basketball.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on this Friday, December 22nd, as we are heading for 6 o'clock here in the second hour. We've been talking about Dodger baseball. We've been talking about the FSU leaving the ACC. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, Keon Rose's college football dance party, bowl edition. That is coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Here in just a few moments, in the third segment, Keon Rose is going to talk about, we had National Signing Day. It was a commitment day for high school players to commit to the universities that they were going to attend and play football at. So Keon has got a bit of a report for us, telling us what's happened around the country and who he thinks got a great class. Of course, we know Georgia has got another great recruiting class. How about Ohio State, though? I mean, I don't want to take your thunder, but Ohio State, I mean, they scored a couple of big ones. It even caught Ryan Day off guard, didn't it, when he was giving that interview?
Yeah, and he of all people needed that. I mean, Ryan Day and Ohio State, they were on the bridge of disaster, essentially, with the number of guys that were either going to the NFL or just put their name in the transfer portal, and we're heading somewhere else because of kind of the way things went at Ohio State, the way things ended down the line. You know, one of the big names, obviously, that put his name in the transfer portal, former Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord. who was in the Heisman talks earlier in the year, but it just kind of never looked like he was the guy. You know, it just seemed like that offense was really loaded and he was getting carried a little bit. So McCord is off because they never really committed to him. And then some of these guys that they were able to land, at National Signing Day was able to put them, in a position where they were back into the top 5. But that could have ended very poorly for Ohio State, coming off of another year where they were not able to beat the Michigan Wolverines. So, yeah, huge for Ryan Day and Ohio State. Obviously, you land Jeremiah Smith. He's a 5-star wide receiver out of Hollywood,
don't give it
Florida.
all away. Don't give it all away yet.
Okay, I thought we were going for it. Yeah.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
No,
We'll
okay.
do it in a minute here.
So the definitely just a big day for Ohio State, just surviving.
Got all excited, man. You got into D for drag race there for a minute.
I thought you were teeing me up there. I was getting ready to go.
I'll give it to you. He's going to talk about that in just a few minutes here on the Blender. And don't forget, this weekend we've got, speaking of teed up, we've got some NFL football teed up all 3 weekend days. First on Saturday, Bengals at Steelers at 2 p.m., Bills at Chargers at 6, which I think is just going to be a slam dunk for the Bills. But you never know, I guess. And then on Sunday, Christmas Eve, Browns at Texans at 10:30, and the Patriots at Broncos at 5:30. And then on Monday, Christmas Day, a triple dip of the NFL, Raiders at Chiefs at 10:30, Giants at Eagles at 2, which I still think is going to be a great game because the Giants have nothing to lose and the Eagles have everything to lose. And I love those kind of games because I feel like you don't know what's going to happen. If the Eagles get off to a big start, then they can, and if they keep the foot on the accelerator, they'll be fine. But look, if the Giants get off to an early lead, that might change the Eagles' game plan. So we'll have to wait and see there. And then I had on Christmas night, Ravens at 49ers, big game, maybe a Super Bowl preview. We'll have to wait and see. That's all on the Flamethrower, 1580 and 99.3, the Fanatic. Let's see here. Last Optimist still loves the scene in Blues Brothers with Stevie Wonder and the Music Shop. I don't recall that. It's been a long time since I watched the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene. Actually,
was that where Stevie Wonder was faking like he could see?
Yeah, like where they were like messing with different instruments, and he was like telling like, "Don't touch that unless you plan on paying for it."
Yeah,
or he kicks the little kid out for messing with that guitar. I think is what it was.
Yeah, okay, I kind of get it. Dodger Danny is on the text line at 888-368-1580. Says, "Am I late to the party? So sorry. How about those Dodgers? Okay, enough. $1.1 billion. He says, come on, if you're going to talk, trash the teams, right? It's the Rangers and the Padres on even making the playoffs. Stop it. We're not in the season, Dodger Danny. And you'll have to listen to the podcast because the first hour, I think we gave a lot of intriguing and intelligent sports insight as to the Dodgers spending.
And the person that predicted the Dodgers losing in the playoffs and the Padres and the Rangers being there, that was somebody else. That was, to be clear, not us. That was a text that Randy was reading.
We were speaking intelligently and forthrightly about the possibility of this thing going bad. That's all we said. So release me, let me go, Dodger Danny. Killer Rabbit says, sounds like a lot of drinking tonight. Merry fun Christmas to everyone. CJ Stroud for the 2024 MLB Pitching Cy Young. All right, wait. Randy, please pour me a shot. I don't know if I should after that. CJ Stroud? Come on, man. Come on, man. Brings up a good point. Rookie of the year after last night, Puka Nacua. Give me a break. That kid is for real.
Yeah. I mean, there's, I don't know. I feel like about halfway through the season, I think that was pretty clear. There's nothing fluky about what he's done. It's been all impressive athleticism. He's got great body control. Obviously, he can make contested catches. What else is there to be said? Now, CJ Stroud, I think, still has an argument, but he can't miss too many more games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll agree with you. It should just go to Nacua at that point.
Talking about the Los Angeles Rams, who are on a winning streak. Is it 5 in a row for them now? They won 5 in a row. 30-22 win over the New Orleans Saints, which a lot of people are ripping the Saints today, saying they are who we thought they were. Okay, well, they fought to try to get back in this game. They only lost the game, by 8 points. I mean, they made some mistakes. They made some clock management mistakes that were extremely egregious to the Saints. But the Rams ended up winning this, and Matthew Stafford again. But the star of the night, in my opinion, was Puka Nacua. And also the Rams defense, they have seemed to got it together. It kind of some people are calling them the no-name defense, for the Rams. These guys able to break up things and harass the quarterback and make plays when they need plays. The offense for the Rams seems to be really connecting. The chemistry is good for them. So, I mean, what is your overall thoughts on last night's game, Rams-Saints in Los Angeles last night?
Yeah, I thought obviously the Rams played great game. And like there are just deficiencies that the Saints have that make it hard for them to beat other good teams. So like this is kind of where we wound up. And I also think that the Rams getting out to just a hotter start really helped them too. I think that they play really well when they've got a lead. A lot of teams do, but for them, I think getting a lead is important because of what that defense is particularly good at, which is slowing down the run. And I thought that played a huge factor in that as well. And I don't know. Like, I think Sean McVay is calling some of his best games, honestly. Like, just think that when he's locked in like this, it's hard to figure out defensively what you're supposed to do to take away the weapons that the Rams have, especially now that Nacua's emerged as a weapon. And Cooper Kupp didn't have a bad game either.
No, and I don't know why you would run a zone defense with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and the other kid for Los Angeles. Seems like you would run some sort of tight man, or I don't know. You would figure out a way to make sure those two, at least one of the two, are taken out of the game completely and double manned, and you're keying on them. But it's like these teams continue to run a zone defense against the Rams, and the Rams and Matthew Stafford just keep, surgically picking them apart.
And I don't know what the Saints deal is with that in particular. I know that there are teams that do it because they just don't have the personnel. Like, if you just don't have a shutdown corner, you kind of have to do zone just because you don't want them to beat you over the top. Like, we're just going to give you the middle of the field, and whatever you do, you do. But we're just not going to get ripped apart over the top. But the Saints have good corners. They have guys that are tough and physical and can make life very difficult for some of the better receivers in this league. So it's weird in particular that the Saints are the team that decided to roll out there and not necessarily, at least make them fight for it, press them, at the line, jam them. Try to deny them whatever release it is that they need to run the route. If they're looking to get an outside release, well, then you can't just let them have it. You know what I mean? Get some hands on that guy and force him inside, or vice versa. So I don't know what the deal is with the Saints, because I actually am disappointed in their defense to a degree. I just think it's more talented than what it's playing like.
Did you like gasp when the Saints came out with that onside kick?
A little bit.
I when I saw that, I openly gasped. I went, what?
Caught me off guard. Yeah.
What are they doing? I mean, okay, then kick it short and get your coverage down there. If you want to run time off the clock, you kick it short to somebody other than who's going to be the returner. But an onside kick, man. What's the percentages of getting an onside kick? I'd love to know that. Anyway, 888-368-1580. Let's go to the text line and see what you have to say. Forward to mention, Heavy Metal Maniacs says, Merry Christmas to Keon and Randy. Hope you have a very nice Christmas a joyful one, and great times with your family and friends. And thanks for being the best afternoon sports show on the radio. And go Diamondbacks. Thanks, Heavy Metal Maniacs. Appreciate it. Same to you, my friend. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season. The Last Optimist is at 888-368-1580 and says, I expect a dead coach bounce from the Chargers. They won't win, but it will be closer than expected. When you say a dead coach bounce, are you saying like some sort of a blowout? But then in the next breath saying it could be closer than expected?
Just that they'll play better. But teams usually, when they fire their coach,
oh, I see it. Okay.
They play a whole lot better. So he's not saying that they're going to blow them out, but that they'll actually show up for some of these games, which is different from what's been happening with them lately. By the way, 7.7% of onside kicks are recovered. Actually, the number used to be higher. It used to be 21%, but they changed some rules, and so here we are.
7.7 by the kicking team.
Yeah. And this season, it's 1 for 31.
Oh boy.
Including the one last night.
What the hell was he thinking?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
And that's the reason why I don't know that his job is necessarily safe.
I don't know. I am stone cold concrete stupid when it comes to being a head coach for the NFL teams. I could not be a head coach but I'm not calling in that situation. I'm not calling an onside kick. I'm sorry. Unless my team is assured 110% of getting that ball in an onside, I'm not calling that, man. I'm sorry. I'll do something else, or I'll kick it through the end zone and tell my defense to go get the ball back. But I'm not kicking an onside. That was just crazy. I physically gasped when I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the onside kick is reserved for especially there's not very much time. I mean, very little time. And there's no way the clock's being stopped. Like that's what it's for.
Thundar, the Santa Barbarian, says, I agree with you on Puka, Randy, and thank God I have him on my fantasy team. Yeah, I noticed that last night. Thundar. He was on the show yesterday crying about, I hope I can beat Randy in the playoffs. He's got Christian McCaffrey, Puka Nacua. Give me a break.
Oh, please.
Give me a break. I'm going to lose so bad.
You're turning the insides out of your pocket and crying about how poor you are. Your team is very good, Thundar. It's a very good team. Good job.
More of your texts and a whole lot more of the show. It's the Daily Blender when we come back on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
You've heard the buzz about IT jobs in cybersecurity and AI, right? Why not prepare for a career in these fields and take advantage of the high demand? You could enjoy a more rewarding and recession-resistant lifestyle. Train in just a few short months at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Already in IT? Skill up for positions employers need to fill. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you can save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. Just text MELT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text MELT to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text MELT to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word MELT to 200-300. Text MELT to 200-300.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, a lot of us play fantasy football this time of year, and it's fun. But what you should be playing is fantasy electric bills. What's that? It's where you get with Harman Solar, and they save you over 80% off your electric bill every month. Then, each time you open up that bill, you're going to feel like you just won a championship. Call Harman Solar today. Get a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmansolar.com.
There's a reason why conventional healthcare is referred to as practicing medicine. Hi, this is Dr. Hannah Lindsay. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. I regularly see patients with a variety of acute and chronic health conditions, including many autoimmune and rheumatological diseases. We can restore pain-free joint function and balance immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and overall well-being. We emphasize natural and holistic interventions with lifestyle changes and take advantage of the full palette of care options from traditional remedies to modern science. We collaborate with experts in a wide range of health disciplines, including physical therapists and specialist physicians, referring patients as needed to ensure the most effective care possible. So how about a second opinion on your health? You might just end up feeling like yourself again. Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161, or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Your home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and Swave Dave on the text line at 888-368-1580. Merry Christmas, or I'm sorry, Merry Weekend and Happy Holidays for everyone. Go Lions. Too bad I can't watch them this weekend. Why not, Swave Dave? I mean, with technology nowadays, why can't Swave Dave watch the Lions? You have a smartphone, Swave Dave? You have an iPad or one of those Microsoft pads? Do you have a computer, perhaps a laptop? Do you have several TVs available for your use? Is there a streaming service that you are you just going to be are you saying that you can't watch it because you're going to be stuck with the in-laws? Or as some people call them, the outlaws? Is it because you're going to be, put together in one of those Christmas sweaters and all, goosed up for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? There are ways to watch your beloved Lions this weekend. There are ways, Swave Dave, to watch. I implore you. I encourage you. No, I goad you into saying, watch the Lions. Life's too short. Mr. Wilbur on the text line, 888-368-1580. Two-part message of Christmas humor. Has it been 2 minutes on Wilbur?
Yeah, it's been 2.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 402. Okay, yeah. Two-part message of Christmas humor. Santa is putting toys around the Christmas tree. When the lady of the house asks Santa to come upstairs, she's dressed in the negligee. Santa says, ho, ho, ho. Santa's got to go. I've got to go get the toys for the children, Part 2 of the text. Santa's still putting toys around the tree, but this time the lady in the house is standing next to him, totally naked. Santa looks at her and says, hey, 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 Santa's got to stay. I can't get up the chimney with my... Wilbur. No, I can't. Wilbur. Shame on you.
Mr. Wilbur. That's 5 minutes. Is
that a 5 minute major?
I mean, it's just because there's already been a penalty assessed. You know what I mean? And then you send us a joke, the punchline of which we actually can't read on the air.
Big George says Swave Dave probably can't watch the game because it's a Peacock streaming exclusive game. Stupid Peacock. Well, George, I have Peacock. I get to watch On Patrol Live tonight and tomorrow night on Peacock. They carry it. You don't have Peacock, Big George? You got like the Hallmark Channel, Big George, and you don't have the Peacock? They have golf tournaments on there. They've got racing on there. I mean, Swave Dave, if you're a fan of anything like football, they've got football on there. College games, hockey, golf, racing,
And they've got a plethora, I say an actual plethora, a cornucopia, if you will, to use seasonal language, a cornucopia of programming that you would like on there, Swave Dave. So I say drop what is it, $3 a month? You get Peacock and watch the Lions. Watch them, Swave Dave. Let's get back to what we were doing here on the game. Did we just take the 38 break? All right, did we just take the 38?
We did, yeah.
All right, good. Mm-hmm. I don't have any jazzy music for this, but Keon Rose's college football signing day coverage has begun here on the Blender. So tell us about some of the National Signing Day, which was earlier this week. We missed it. We were talking about, other things that were happening. So we didn't get to talk too much about it. But Keon, fill us in. Tell us about some of the teams and how their National Commitment Day, their signing day went for some of these bigger teams.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really interesting day because we mentioned before the Ohio State thing. They nearly had a disastrous day, to the point where they were having a press conference afterwards, and Ryan Day had to fake breathe a giant sigh of relief because he knew his job was in jeopardy that day. You have a bad recruiting class at Ohio State, and then you turn around and don't beat Michigan and don't make the college football playoff, which won't be a concern for them next year, now that more teams are going to be in it. But they still want to see you beat Michigan. That's got nothing to do with the college football playoff, and they are tired of seeing him lose. I believe it is 3 straight times now to Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. So he needed that. He needed a day like this, and he got it. And I think that's absolutely huge for Ohio State. Got a couple of 5 stars in the mix. Jeremiah Smith was one. Mylan Graham was the other. Those were the 2 big guys, I think, that made this thing go. And I think that there were a number of 4 stars as well. So that was a good day for Ohio State. By the way, your top 5 in recruiting, you had Georgia at number 1, Alabama at number 2, Miami at number 3, Ohio State 4, and Oregon 5. I believe Oregon and Texas actually just switched spots because this is the early National Signing Day. So you're going to get most of your class at this point, but it's not over. I mean, you're still, these teams are going to still be, jockeying for position, moving up and down, as we go. So that is absolutely huge for Ohio State. But you also had a number of other schools trending in various directions. Alabama, obviously the number 2 team, they had a fantastic day. They were able to get their quarterback of the future, 5-star quarterback, Julian Sayin, from where Big George is, actually, Carlsbad, California. So, he's a guy that he's being made out to be the next great Alabama quarterback.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they
Did you say his
like
last name is like saying, like I'm just saying?
Yeah, spelled exactly like that. Sayin.
No kidding.
Julian Sayin.
All right.
And he's been, making a lot of noise. People liked him at the Elite 11 camp. He looked really good. The parents were talking about how when he was a little kid, he used to play Madden and he'd be audibling and, trying to figure out ways to fake out the defense and stuff like that, which when I was playing Madden as a kid, I did not do. Did not read a defense as a child. So, that's just a little bit of he was running no huddle when he was in Pee Wee football. So like that ought to tell you they really think that he's a sharp kid.
Running no huddle on the Pee Wees. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So then Alabama, of course, they've got a couple of guys from their cornerback room going to the NFL. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be a first rounder. That guy's awesome. And Terrion Arnold could also go, but they replaced them with Jalen Mbakwe and Zabian Brown, both a 5-star and a 4-star. So they just, continue to put elite corners at Alabama, which makes sense because that was actually, the position group that Nick Saban coached coming up. It was something that he was so keyed in on this year that he decided he was going to coach the corners himself this year because he didn't want to have any mistakes. He didn't want to have anything, messing up on the back end of his defense that was going to cost them football games. So that's absolutely, huge for them. They were able to go out and have a big day, on the defensive side of the ball, but they also had some really solid moves they were trying to make. They tried to get Edric Houston from Ohio State, the the 4-star that ended up signing with them. They nearly flipped them. They weren't able to. So that's another thing that helps Ryan Day in Ohio State. Because if Alabama flips them, then, his whole day goes a whole lot differently. And then Georgia was able to flip KJ Bolden from Florida State, but Alabama was working on him too. So they were trying to get that. A team that's probably not headed in the right direction, though, University of Florida. They didn't have a good year last year, but a lot of people were like, okay, be patient. Billy Napier, he's a good coach. He's done it, at other levels. He just hasn't been able to get it done at Florida on the field or off the field with this recruiting. So they had the number 3 recruiting class all the way up to National Signing Day. And then over the course of the month, they found themselves in the 15 range, which is not good. And especially when you're a school like the University of Florida with the expectations that fan base has, that the boosters have at that university, falling to number 15 recruiting when you're looking around and there's another top class for a school like Alabama. There's another top class for a school like Georgia. How about, Miami, number 3, moving up to number 3? That's your in-state rival. So if Miami's getting talent, why aren't you? They're going to ask that in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
So not a good day at all for Florida. Texas trending up. They were 6th in recruiting, had a really, really good, outing. They're looking to try and add, obviously, a lot of wide receiver talent, and they were able to get the 4-star transfer Matthew Golden. That was huge. They got him out of Houston. So, whether or not Quinn Ewers stays, they're either going to roll with Quinn Ewers or they're going to start the Arch Manning era at Texas. But either way, they want to make sure that they've got weapons for whoever it is that's going to be under center. They also got 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo, which is, again, absolutely massive. Going to look at another team that's probably not moving in the right direction. Ralph, maybe it's a good thing that he's not here because his USC Trojans they're falling apart. It doesn't look good. And the one thing that I thought Lincoln Riley did, no matter what, that was good was recruiting. But this past recruiting cycle has been an absolute debacle. USC, they were as low as 20 by National Signing Day. They're back up to 18 now. So yay, I guess. But you're moving to the Big Ten. You can't have a number 18 recruiting class. You're moving to the Big Ten. The defenses are going to be, a whole lot tougher. That's just the reality of it. And look, they were able to get some good players. They got 2 of the highest rated 4-star players with Raleek Brown and Mario Williams. And then, you're trying to make sure that you don't lose any more from your quarterback room. Caleb Williams, if he ultimately declares to go to the NFL, you've also lost Malachi Nelson. He put his name in the transfer portal. He's leaving. So it's just an all around, rough time right now for the USC Trojans. And I think Lincoln Riley's got to be able to recover from this. I don't know how hard he's willing to work the transfer portal at this point, but he better do it at a Deion Sanders level because this could be ugly. The future of USC is kind of hanging in the balance here.
Tell us about the Sun Devils. How the Sun Devils do on signing day?
The Sun Devils had a solid day. Obviously, not as big a day as the teams I was just talking about. But when you start to roll on down, Arizona had a solid day too. They finished according to 24/7.
We don't want to talk about that.
They were.
Tell me about the Sun Devils. We go.
They were 49th, but the Sun Devils are right there. They were at 52nd. I only bring that up because, like, when we've talked about this in the past, Arizona was way ahead of ASU. Now that gap has closed an awful lot. And ASU, big day. They were able to get a couple of top tier 4-stars, Jason Brown from Seattle, from Seattle, Washington. He went to Odeya High School up there, and Jaden Fortier, the other 4-star. So you get a running back and a tight end. So we're starting to now add to the offense that Kenny Dillingham has, and I'm sure he has a vision of what his offense is going to look like. So those are the 2 big 4-stars there, and then they did have a good day with the 3-star athletes that they were pursuing. I like that they went after corner a lot. Got a couple of good 3-star players, Terrell Kim from Oregon, Rodney Bimmage from Dickinson, Texas, and then they went and got a linebacker, Albert Smith. I like him a lot too.
Hey, there we go.
And a Louisiana kid. You know those guys play football. So I'm interested in where they're going to go from here. But going after a couple of top offensive weapons, I like the finish there for ASU.
Well, there you go. National Signing Day. Fortunately, we didn't talk about U of A too much. They had a solid day, you said, though?
They did have a solid day. They had some good players in their own right.
But ASU had a better day.
I would say it's about the same, to be honest.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they're on a similar level there.
All right, there it is. Keon Rose's college football signing day coverage. Next hour, when we come back, sometime during the 5 o'clock hour, Keon Rose's college football dance party bowl edition, and a whole lot more, plus on this state and Big Georgia sports history. Come on back, gang. It's a Daily Blender, final hour on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, folks, Rich Eisen here. So this football season's really heating up, and the guys on my show, they're having a blast with Prize Picks. And now with basketball season in full swing, they're able to pick combo projections across both sports. Join them on prizepicks.com/primetime. Easy gameplay and an enormous selection of players and stat options are what they tell me makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Brockman is loving that aspect. He's hooked. And all you need to do is visit prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. That's code primetime at prizepicks.com/primetime for a first deposit match up to $100. Don't be left on the sideline this basketball season. Go to Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase, but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you can save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. Just text MELT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text MELT to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text MELT to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word MELT to 200-300. Text MELT to 200-300.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and iPad and Apple Watch SE, all on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Act now. Visit Verizon.com. iPhone requires Unlimited Ultimate plan first. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line required first. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit. Up to $459.99 device payment purchase with new line on eligible plan required per Apple Watch or iPad. Less up to $459.99 promo credit per device applied. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, December 22nd on the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale in the CRC Megaplex. Right over there, that is Keon Rose, the sexiest man in sports talk radio. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is on assignment today. and he will be back next week. You are the fourth dimension and texting in on the text line at 888-368-1580. Like Big George saying, I love Keon's college football signing day square dancing party. Well, Big George, that's not what we called it. It was just a report. Everything doesn't have to have a dance when it comes to Keon.
It could just be a report. That's fine.
Anyway, he said, great analysis, Keon. It wasn't even close. Keon Rose completely dominated this edition of Keon Rose's college football signing day dance party. No, again, it's not a dance party. He said, Randy was a close second, Jeffrey third, and Ralph came in last since he was non-existent. He goes on to say, I do have the Peacock, Randy, but I'm just saying that Swave Dave might not have the Peacock. I don't like streaming exclusive games. They should be available to the masses on free on-the-air television. Well, I agree with you, but that's the way it's going. Pretty soon, we're going to have to get streaming services. That's the way it's going to go. They're going to put everything behind the paywall. ESPN is already doing it. ESPN's coverage of like the Masters and things like that, you don't get to see the premier guys on the Masters or some of these other golf tournaments because it's only shown on ESPN Plus, and I just refuse to get ESPN Plus. I refuse to. But I do have the Peacock, and I got the Peacock because I watch On Patrol Live. But I have noticed the Peacock has many different sporting events, racing, that sort of thing, and also some fun TV shows that Miss Kim and I might like to get it back into. Swave Dave, Peacock does not do CBS games over the air. That's Paramount you're thinking of. The Peacock does NBC stuff.
This is the thing that I know that I'm hating about all of this.
Yeah.
So which game is that on again? Is that on Peacock or on Paramount? No, it's on ESPN Plus. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just too much. It's just too much.
See. So there you go. I hope that straightened away everything. Big George and Swave Dave, I hope you guys are clear now. I have to reset I have got to reset the text machine. So let's go ahead and jump in to this hour. Dodgers, big news today. Dodgers have laid out over $1 billion signing Yamamoto to their pitching staff last night. 12 at $325 million. One of the richest in baseball history. So you add that together with the 700, bazillion they paid Ohtani, and the other poor guy that basically, if you put him up against these two guys, he's underpaid. It comes out to about $1.1 billion. Yeah, I said billion with a B. $1 billion Dodgers have laid out now in this free agent signing period, and we'll see what happens there. Also, the Atlanta Falcons have been fined $750,000 total. The team taking a fine, and also head coach Arthur Smith for failing to disclose Bijan Robinson's illness before week 7. Remember, that's the week where Bijan only ran like 3 times, and they had no real explanation for what that was. Also in the headlines, Florida State begins the process of abandoning the ACC by opening up a lawsuit challenging their exit fine, which is $572 million. Excuse me. And then last night, the Rams defeating the Saints 30-22. Rams on the cusp and moving the Seattle Sea Chickens out of the wild card. The Rams have now claimed that spot. The Sea Chickens are now in the hunt, so that makes it even more important for the Sea Chickens this weekend to win. Unfortunately, when they come to Phoenix, the final game of the season, the Cardinals will be waiting, and we will win. Cardinals will beat the Sea Chickens. So we've had a lot happen on this edition of the Daily Blender. I do want to get you up to speed on some of the injury updates as of today. This is the injury tracker as of today. Some of the people that have been cleared for play, Will Pittman Jr. will play.
Tyreek Hill returns to practice, although he's not been released to play yet. It's a promising sign, but he has not been released to play. Cecil the Wonder Dog is clearly a Tyreek Hill fan. The Bengals, Jamar Chase will be out, definitely, with a shoulder injury. For the Steelers, Elijah Riley, ankle, he's questionable. Minkah Fitzpatrick, free safety, out. Kenny Pickett will be out. Mason Rudolph will be the starting quarterback for the Steelers. Ty Johnson for the Bills is questionable. Micah Hyde is out. He has a neck stinger. And wide receiver Justin Shorter has a hamstring, and he will be out. Not listed on here. Not listed on here is it was Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs. Chargers, Nick Vannett is questionable. Keenan Allen is out.
Uh-oh.
Outside linebacker Joey Bosa is out. For the Colts, Zach Moss has a forearm injury, and he's questionable. Michael Pittman is questionable, but I've heard a lot of people on the X or Twitter or whatever the hell it is this week talking about how he will probably play,
which is incredible. when you see how he got hit, man.
Yeah.
That is.
Oh yeah. The Falcons don't have Bijan Robinson listed, so he's playing. But some of the guys they have out for the Falcons would be Calais Campbell. He's limited. Bud Dupree has got a back. He did not practice this week. Offensive lineman Jake Matthews, he's limited. These offensive guys, these linemen, Keon, they're like indestructible. The Packers,
they feel it, though.
Packers right now, running back A.J. Dillon is limited. He has a thumb injury. Aaron Jones is limited. He has a knee and a finger injury. Let's see. Dontavion Wicks is limited with an ankle injury. Emmanuel Wilson is limited with a shoulder injury. Luke Musgrave did not practice. And what they're saying is kidney. I don't know if he ruptured his kidney or if it dropped or the Browns, they don't really have any, I mean, they've got a lot of defensive players and they've got some guys on the offensive line, except Kareem Hunt. He has a groin injury and he will be limited. The Texans have listed Noah Brown as ready to play. He had full practice all week. He's good to go. Nico Collins, he is questionable with a calf injury. John Mechie, he's limited with an illness. C.J. Stroud still out. He's listed as out with a concussion. Let's see here. Commandos. Do we want to talk about the Commandos? Brian Robinson out.
Oh, well, so that just makes it worse, quite frankly.
Jonathan Williams did not practice. Sorry.
It is what it is. I need them to lose.
Jets have listed Zach Wilson as out with concussion. This is interesting here. Sea Chickens. So their defense is in trouble here. Witherspoon did not practice. He has a hip injury. Frank Clark he did not practice. He has an illness. Running back Kenneth Walker did not practice with a shoulder injury. Defensive end Leonard Williams, he's an ankle injury and he's limited. And cornerback Trey Brown has a heel and knee injury. He's limited.
The Witherspoon
Jaguar
one is the one that hurts the most. Yeah,
that's big. Yeah. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is still listed as questionable, although he did practice today. Zay Jones is questionable with a knee and a hamstring injury. Chris Godwin did not practice. He had a knee injury. It's not good for my team. Let's see here. They're not going to talk about the Cardinals. Greg Dortch won't be playing. That's all you need to know about them. Marquise Brown is also out for the Cardinals. We're still going to win. We're still going to win.
I hope you're right.
Equinemius St. Brown for the Bears did not practice. Spectorial. I think it's pectoral. The Cowboys' Rico Dowdle is limited. Malik Hooker is limited. Jonathan Hankins did not practice. Zach Martin did not practice. And tackle Tyrone Smith did not practice. The Dolphins have Devon Achane is limited with a toe injury. Tyreek Hill is limited with an ankle injury. Let's see. Who else here do we are we excited about that we need to know more about?
I know on the defensive side, potentially Xavier Howard. I don't know if he's been cleared yet, but I know that he was being looked at for some reason, and that's not good for the Dolphins defense.
Limited.
Yeah,
he's limited. Let's see here for the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman is thumb. He's limited. Nick Bolton is the linebacker. He did not practice. Linebacker Cam Jones did not practice. Jerick McKinnon groin did not practice. Kadarius Toney did not practice. Hip injury. And for the Eagles, Devontae Smith did not practice. He had a knee injury. That's not good for my team.
Uh-oh.
I've been riding him like a prize horse all week or all season, man. I mean, he just goes out there and delivers. Oh, also, cornerback Darius Slay did not practice. Landon Dickerson did not practice. Zach Cunningham did not practice. Nicholas Morrow did not practice. Wow. Ravens, Zay Flowers is limited. Marcus Williams, a safety, is limited. Odell Beckham Jr. illness did not practice. Boy, he's been about useless this year for the Ravens, hasn't he?
He had one good game, and that was the LA game. Every other game, where's Waldo? You have no idea what he does for the team. I mean, I'm sure being a veteran in the locker room does something, but they didn't give him that money to be that. They want him to be out there on the field playing.
Breaking news, the 49ers, Deebo Samuel, CMC, and I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're not listed on here.
You know, somebody almost had a
restroom
moment in their car.
I know. They probably sharked themselves right there. I was just kidding there, everyone. Elijah Mitchell, really the only running back, the only one that would affect your fantasy football team, he looks like he's did not practice for the 49ers. So there you go. That's the injury tracker for this week. And we will keep abreast of that whole situation. Still waiting for the text line to fire up here. 888-368-1580. It's the first segment of the last hour. Coming up next segment, it's going to be Keon Rose's college football dance party bowl edition. Big George says this segment is missing the house theme song. It wasn't house, and I couldn't find it in time. Sorry, Big George. But I do know that I tried to live up to Jeffrey's standard on that. Mr. Wilbur says, what is Santa? Oh, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Wilbur.
Mr. Wilbur is trying his best to get ejected from the game. And we're not going to let him do it.
Let's see here. Navy Devil says the sigh of relief Ryan Day had was the NIL check finally cleared. Yeah, well, I mean, I could see that. Chief.
Either way, I mean, everybody else has access to NIL money too. So, you know, that's not the Ohio State advantage.
Chief Skoll, I haven't seen you. I'm sorry. It's the texting. Chief Skoll here has been texting in. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. That's the last one I saw. Let's see here. Here's one. I'd like to say happy birthday today to my little red bird, her 18th. She's a light in this world. Happy birthday, little red bird. Congratulations on 18 big years. Enjoy another trip around the sun. And congratulations to you, Chief Skoll. Here is a drink to celebrate. Of course, little Redbird can't have one, but you can. And I think that's all on the text line right now. 888-368-1580. All right, we're going to go to break a little early because when we come back, it's Keon Rose's College Football Dance Party Bowl Edition. Get ready, everybody. Hold everything down. This is going to be big here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Take the guesswork out of your holiday gifts. OmahaSteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and save an additional $30 with promo code VSIN. OmahaSteaks.com.
The NFL with 2 games on Saturday. The Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh 7-7. Well, the Bengals are 8-6. They've won 3 in a row with backup quarterback Jake Browning. The Bengals are a 2.5-point road favorite, -152. Pittsburgh +128. Over under 37.5. The nightcap Saturday, Chargers home at SoFi to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, who are 8-6, are a 12.5-point road favorite, -820. The Chargers are 5-9. They gave up 63 points last week. The over-under is 43.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-216-9922. That's 1-800-216-9922. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-216-9922. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Wendy's Peppermint Frosty and Frosty Cream Cold Brew make the perfect gift for anyone in your life, especially for you. Yeah, this year you're sitting on your own lap and getting yourself what you want. Finally. And now every day this season, unlock 20% off your total when you get any small, medium, or large Frosty in the Wendy's app. So order something from your own wish list this year.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's with app offer and registration. Applies to menu items only. Taxes and fees excluded.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 2/10. Visit staples.com/print for details.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Big weekend this weekend of NFL action on the big flamethrower, 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Starting tomorrow at 2 p.m., Bengals at Steelers. I think it's going to be a good game. Bills at Chargers, 6 p.m. I don't think that's going to be a good game, but you still want to tune in. You never know. Maybe the Chargers, like somebody said earlier on the show, could have a new coach bump. You know, a dead man walking coach.
I mean, it's happened before. It happened to
Didn't the Raiders go 3-0 when they got
I don't know if they went 3-0, but they won the next game. You know,
I thought it was 2 or 3 in a row or something.
I don't think so. But regardless, it was a good run. Like, they had some wins in there. You know, I remember as well, who was it?
I don't know. You tell me.
It was, I don't know. Well, man. Well, okay. The Raiders again. The last time the Raiders fired a coach, Rich Bisaccia, they got the bump from him.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking on what I actually meant to say. So sorry about that.
The older you get, Keon, I'm 61 now, and the older they get, the more frequent that happens to you. Yeah,
it's a little scary because I had the thought perfectly in my mind, and then I went to go say it, and it was gone.
I walked out to the garage, got in my car, opened the garage door, forgot where I was going the other day. That's a true story. The car was running, the garage door was open, and I forgot where I was going.
I got to stop this aging thing. It's not fun. I want to stop the ride.
It catches everybody. You know, it catches everybody.
It does.
All right, then let's see. Bills, Chargers, 6 p.m. Saturday. Sunday, Browns, Texans at 10:30. Patriots, Broncos at 5:30. Then Monday, a triple header of NFL action. Raiders, Chiefs at 10:30. Giants, Eagles at 2. And Ravens, 49ers. I'm really looking forward to that game. I'll be passed out by then. After all of the festivities on Christmas Day, we're very busy. Do you have any things you like to do on Christmas Day? What do you do? I know you're away from your family, so you don't have your normal stuff. But do you have any plans this Christmas Eve or day?
This Christmas, I actually don't. But you know, stuff that I usually do is you know, get a nice big breakfast with the family. Is usually when I'm with them. That's usually what goes down. So I don't know. I'll probably get some food and stuff ready and then have a nice big breakfast anyway. All right. That's kind of my thing. I usually don't eat breakfast on a regular day. But Christmas Day, there's just something about starting the day off with just a nice big meal and then eating another one later, and that's basically it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 888-368-1580 is the text line. Let us know what you do on Christmas, and no dirty replies, moist one. I'm on to you. All right, it's time for Keon Rose's college football dance party bowl edition. Yeah, the bowl edition. All right, Keon, a lot of bowls have already played.
There's one happening right now.
Yeah, what is that? The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. That's where Georgia Tech, the Rambling Wreck, is taking on the University of Central Florida, Raymond James Stadium. I don't know what the score is now.
It's 14-0 Central Florida over the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Oh, I thought it was the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. Maybe I'm wrong.
I believe they have been called that before, but they're the Yellow Jackets normally.
All right, so who's your pick in this game? No fair going by the score right now.
Going by the score right now. I know that it's unfair because I have obviously the hindsight of there being 1/4 of UCF being on top, but you know how crazy bowl games can get. But yeah, I think I like Georgia Tech. You know what? I'll take Georgia Tech to come from behind. So how about this?
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I like that team. I you know, they're 6-6. They're a 500 squad. I understand that, but they've been fun to watch all year long. And having Haynes King at quarterback, you know, he didn't quite get it done as the quarterback of the Texas A&M Aggies a year ago, but I thought he had a pretty solid year for the most part this year. And he's out there going up against another guy that's had to transfer a couple of times, John Reese Plumlee over at Central Florida. I just and you know what? Georgia Tech's also been in games where they've had to come from behind. So we'll see how that goes. But I believe right now Georgia Tech is in scoring position, 3rd and 7 on the UCF 19. So maybe they'll make an honest person out of me right now.
All right, now I'm going to run down the bowl games that I like to watch, and if there's some that I missed that you like to watch, because I don't know what you do tomorrow. I don't know if you just get up like tomorrow morning or afternoon, and you turn on the TV and watch certain bowl games. So I'm just going to run through, and if you want to hit something that is one of your favorites, let me know. I do like to watch the Birmingham Bowl because that's from Birmingham, Alabama. And Troy, the men of Troy, who have stolen all of USC's used football gear, take on Duke. Take on Duke. That's in Birmingham, Alabama. That's at noon tomorrow on ABC.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really fun game. I always love these games when teams from like the Sun Belt are playing an ACC school or something like that. Like that's always, you never really get to see those matchups sometimes. And, I don't know exactly how Duke is feeling about this, but a lot of these smaller schools, when they get the chance to play an ACC program or an SEC program, it means the world to them to have that opportunity to be there. And they don't take it for granted. And I like Troy's quarterback, Gunnar Watson. He's been fantastic throughout the season. 27 touchdowns to 5 picks. I mean, the guy's just been, automatic. They've been great on the ground as well. So I'm going to take Troy to pull off the upset here and beat Duke. Right. I understand that. I understand Riley Leonard's a really good quarterback. I understand what's going on, but when you have a coach leave ahead of bowl season as well, that does impact some things. Mike Elko leaving Duke to get to start his new job. So yeah, I'm going to go with Troy.
All right. So the men of Troy win that one. The second game going on at noon is the Camellia Bowl, Arkansas State at Northern Illinois. I love games like this because how often do you get, game day live from Northern Illinois or game day live from Arkansas State. So give me your rundown on this. That's noon on ABC, the Camellia Bowl.
Yeah, so you got Arkansas State on one side, Jalen Raynor, their top passer of the season, and I like the name of the quarterback from Northern Illinois, Rocky Lombardi. Just a classic name there. But
hey, Rock, stick it to him, Rock.
I think that the edge for this game though kind of goes to Northern Illinois. They are the better team on the ground. Ontario Brown is a 1,000-yard rusher this season. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry. He's got 10 touchdowns on the year as well. So I'll take the Northern Illinois Huskies in this game, but I agree with you. This is a fun bowl game, and this is actually a very fun matchup. I think the spread's 2.5 points. So, that's going to be a close game according to Vegas, and I think it'll be a close game in real life too.
James Madison seemed to have a pretty good year, and they will be taking on the Air Force Academy in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. It's James Madison versus Air Force. That's in Fort Worth, Texas. Again, that's also at noon on ESPN.
Yeah, and I'm going to give James Madison their credit. They've had an amazing season. They've had an amazing run. I'm glad that they were able to get in to this set of bowl games. There was a chance that they wouldn't actually get the opportunity to play because of them leaving their conference and moving to a potentially bigger conference, and then having to sit out a year. That would have been really stupid for how good they were, because they were playing higher level competition than what they had in the past. And Jordan McLeod, their quarterback, is a 32 touchdown guy right now, 3,000 yards on the season. He's been absolutely insane. But you look at Air Force, and this is true for a lot of service academy schools, but Air Force this year, they're the 4th in the nation in rushing yards per game. Well, it's hard to deny them. But I'm going to go with James Madison. I really like their offense as a whole. And I think that if you end up in a shootout situation, which I think this game could wind up being, it could be very high scoring. I'm gonna go with James Madison and what they've been able to do throughout this season.
All right, let's see here. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, one I always love to watch. I don't know why, but I always love watching this game. I think it is so fun. It's in Boise, Idaho. You get some great, beautiful shots of the snow-capped mountains there in Boise, and you get to watch some pretty good football. And then this year it's Georgia State versus Utah State. So who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, I first off, I like how well represented the Sun Belt is. This is just another Sun Belt school, and the Sun Belt was no joke this year. 6-6 Georgia State, but they were playing some really good football teams throughout the year. And Utah State in the Mountain West, also not a joke. So we got a lot of really good Sun Belt versus Mountain West matchups. That's really great. I think Utah State's the better team here, though, and I like Georgia State. I've been to a couple of Georgia State games. Their fans are awesome. They travel well, so I'd love to pick them, but I don't know if I necessarily can. Utah State. They may not necessarily have players putting up some of the better numbers, but when you look at the offensive numbers for Utah State as a team, and they do it more by committee, but they run the ball a whole lot better than Georgia State does. They pass the ball at a higher level as well. And then when we talk about total yards per game, Utah State does that much better too. Georgia State does a really good job of capitalizing on points, though, and converting when they get the opportunities to be in the red zone. So I do expect that they're going to keep the game close, but I think Utah State is going to be the winner of this game.
All right, speaking of Utah State, let's move to Hawaii, shall we? Honolulu at the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex. Is that the stadium there in Honolulu? Because, I've been by the stadium a couple of times, and it's right there across from Pearl Harbor. Is that the stadium they're talking about?
I actually don't know.
Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Conference. Well, anyway, that's where they're playing the game. It's the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, Coastal Carolina versus San Jose State. I love watching this game. Who do you got in this matchup?
Yeah, I think first off, it is a great game. The time difference, I think, is what makes it kind of cool, because when it comes on, at 8:30, it's still pretty much daytime over in Hawaii, which is always it gives you the feeling like you've been watching football all day, even if you haven't. If that's the only game you watch, that's still really, really good. I like Coastal Carolina a lot just as a school. For the last few years, they've been trying to build that program up to something that is, got more national attention. And by the way, this is another Sun Belt Mountain West game. Those two conferences were really doing work. But I think that San Jose State has the better football team. I think that when you start looking at the yards per game, Coastal Carolina has the better game. But I just think when you're a team that you're playing in Hawaii, you're on the road, you're traveling, San Jose State's got the ground game. And that's where I'm looking for this. Kyrie Robinson is their running back, 18 touchdowns. He's averaging over 7 yards a carry. And I just think that when you're that dominant on the ground, then it doesn't really matter, if we're talking about jet lag and being away from the family and all of that stuff. You can run the football anywhere. That stuff travels. And I also think that they're a really good defensive team as well. So I'm going to go with San Jose State over Coastal Carolina, but this is another close one. This is one where, I think Vegas actually has San Jose State favored by 10, but I'm not so sure. I really think Coastal Carolina can play, a high level passing game. I just don't know how consistent enough it is for the situation that they're in.
All right. Then on Tuesday, I should mention that that last bowl I talked about, that's on December 23rd, Saturday. Now, on Tuesday, December 26th, the Quick Lane Bowl features Bowling Green versus Minnesota at the Ford Field from Detroit. That'll be at 2 p.m. on ESPN or ESPN Plus or on the ESPN app. So who do you have? Bowling Green versus Minnesota in the Quick Lane Bowl.
Yeah, this is an interesting game because Bowling Green has, a better record. They're 7-5. Minnesota's 5-7. But I think Minnesota's played better competition, and it makes it a little bit tougher to kind of tease out who the better team is here. It's not like Minnesota, when you look at some of these numbers, is blowing anybody away. They're not very good at throwing the football, so that's going to be an issue. When it comes to just racking up yards per game in general, they're also not particularly great at that. Like it's hard to find anything that Minnesota's truly great at. You just in your head, you want to say that they're going to win because they've played better teams throughout the season. But Bowling Green, it's much easier to just look at them and go, okay, yeah, Bowling Green does a really good job of scoring points. They're inside of the top 100, which for, playing in a smaller conference is pretty big deal. And they're not have bad running the football. I'm not going to say that they're necessarily great, but I like Terrion Stewart. He's their running back. He's been consistent. He's their lead back. But again, it's another one of those, by committee backfields. I can at least point to something that at Bowling Green that they do well. I have trouble doing that with Minnesota. So I'm going to go with Bowling Green.
All right. So the next one I like to watch is at 5:30 p.m. on ESPN is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which features Kansas against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. That's live from Chase Field in Phoenix. Who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, this is obviously a great bowl game just because it's in our backyard, and you can always see some of the fans come in. Some of the Vegas fans will come in. Kansas fans, anytime that team has ever been good at football,
they travel well.
They travel. I mean, they are up for the task. So this is a game that I'm very much looking forward to seeing. And I like the ground team here a little bit better. Kansas is 19th in the nation in rushing yards per game. That is absolutely huge. Devin Neal is a 15 touchdown man this year. And even though they're not necessarily dealing with the quarterback that they started the year with in Jalen Daniels, I do like that Jason Bean has come in and played really good football and has gotten, for part of the year of playing, he's gotten 1,600 yards. It's not bad. I just like Kansas so much better on the ground and their ability to control the game. If they get a lead, I think they win this thing easily. So I'm going to go with the Jayhawks.
All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a break because when we come back, we're going to talk about the big bowl games that are remaining. And we're going to get Keon's take on the Final Four. We're in the middle of Keon Rose's College Football Dance Party Bowl Edition here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-216-9922. That's 1-800-216-9922. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-216-9922. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
I'm an Arizona truck driver. I deliver food, medicine, supplies, and hope.
And during times of crisis, I support our communities. But every day I see people putting lives and families at risk.
Distracted driving is deadly, period. Be aware, be safe, and visit sharetheroadaz.com and find tips on how to drive safely around trucks.
This message is sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, Phoenix has had over 53 days of 110 degree plus this summer. This last July alone, we had 30 consecutive days of 110 plus. And this summer heat might just be the new normal for summers here in Arizona. What you need to do is call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
If you hit, pass it, dunk it, shoot it, check it, throw it, putt it, or block it, then we're gonna talk about it. I like that! I just thought I'd clear that up. 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Clear up the text line here on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic, the Daily Blender. Rico Suave says, Merry Christmas, fellas. Right back at you, Rico. Killer Rabbit. Randy, we're grilling, already marinating the beef tenderloin for the family and the fixings, potatoes, veggies, and more beef. Good for you, man. Enjoy that, and I hope it comes out great for you, just the way you like it. Big George, one of my favorite Christmas traditions is waking up on Christmas morning, turning on the Christmas music and opening presents with the family later on in the day, turning on 24 hours of A Christmas Story and eating a homemade Christmas ham dinner. The newer tradition now involves watching some NFL Christmas football.
Wait, at one point in your life, you watched A Christmas Story for 24 hours?
Straight?
I mean, it's a good movie. It's a quality Christmas movie, but
doesn't it get tired after a while?
Yeah, like maybe the third time that day. Curious, Big George.
Navy Devil says nothing like watching Sunday Night Football at 1 p.m. in Hawaii. We were out there in October once. The game was over, and I was like, "What are we supposed to watch next?" Yeah, it's kind of weird, huh?
That's how I felt actually when I moved out here. Because when I was on the East Coast, all these games were ending at like 11.
You're out there and you're watching these games, and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon or something. And you're like, "What am I supposed to do now?"
Usually, I just watch football and go to sleep. Now what?
No kidding. Well, anyway, let's get back to Keon Rose's college football dance party bowl edition. And we're going to cover some of the big bowls that are remaining. Of course, the New Year's Six. But I want to talk about some leading up to New Year's Day. First of all, let me say this. The DirecTV Holiday Bowl, Utah got completely robbed and not being able to play in this one against Louisville. But they've got Louisville and SC instead of Utah versus SC. Utah, which, by the way, beat Southern Cal. And Southern Cal, by the way, which some of their big players are not going to be playing in. So Louisville versus SC at the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Keon, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you laid out the case for why I'm about to pick Louisville right now, which is basically that, USC, they struggled all year long, and this is when they were healthy, when they had all of their players, when they weren't necessarily sending guys away to the NFL. they were struggling not just against some of the quality teams in the Pac-12, but they struggled against Colorado, who's rebuilding. They struggled against ASU, who's rebuilding. They struggled against Arizona, who on paper they should be better than. If you just look at the 4 stars and 5 stars that play for USC and look at the ones that play for Arizona, guess what? The Trojans are supposed to be better, but they weren't better. Meanwhile, Louisville was surprisingly good. They exceeded basically every expectation. When they got into the top 25, I think a lot of people thought they were going to hang around in the 20s, in the mid 20s, maybe upper 20s as they started playing a whole lot better. Then all of a sudden, they looked like a top 15 team in the country, and that's about where they settled by the time the season was over. And they're playing for a lot of pride. These guys are going to be back next year, a lot of them. They want to build on what they were able to do this year. And a lot of the teams and a lot of the people that they surprised this year. And because we have a bigger college football playoff. So, yeah, they're going to take this probably more seriously than the Trojans will. When you look at a number of these stats, the Trojans have bigger numbers in yards per game. But you got Caleb Williams out there? Don't think you do. So, yeah, I'm going to take Jack Plummer and I'm going to take the Louisville Cardinals to beat USC, and probably pretty bad.
All right, as we hit the lightning round here, Keon, the next bowl is the Valero Alamo Bowl, where U of A is taking on Oklahoma University. Call this one for us.
Yeah, the bowl game that used to be in my backyard growing up. And Arizona, I think, has had a really good year. And I don't want to take away from anything that they've done, but Oklahoma found another level this year, and they were incredibly close to being a team that was able to go to the Big 12 championship. Maybe not at that point, make it to the college football playoff, but to play spoiler at least to Texas on the other side. That would have been fun. Didn't quite make there. Sure, they're pretty pissed off about it. And it also seems like it doesn't matter who they plug in at quarterback. They seem to get whatever results that they're looking for. And their defense is really, really good. Not taking anything away from Arizona and Noah Fafita, but man, the Oklahoma Sooners are playing college football on a different level right now. I'm going to go with them.
All right, so let's go to the big New Year's Day bowls. Of course, Alabama taking on Michigan at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Alabama, number 4 in the country, number 1, Michigan. Who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, this is such an interesting game because of how good Alabama has been playing. Since they lost to Texas, they've been able to beef up what they've done. Jalen Milroe got benched the following week, and then worked his way back into the starting lineup, and he's played exceptional football since then. But I do think that there's still more room for him to grow. I don't think that he's the most well-rounded quarterback. Meanwhile, Michigan has a number of different ways to beat teams. They're, I think, a more complete team than Alabama is. So I'll take the Wolverines.
All right. Next up, the Sugar Bowl featuring number 3 Texas versus number 2 Washington.
I'm going to put it out there that I am exceptionally and impossibly biased here. You're just going to have to take what I say with just a giant salt lick block of salt, okay? Because I can't turn this off. All right. I didn't expect them to be able to even have a chance to be here. So yeah, I am absolutely excited, and I do think that Texas has a lot of things that they do well. I think you've heard me talk about the stuff that Washington does really well, that they have a fantastic wide receiver core. They have a fantastic running game, and Michael Penix Jr. is awesome. That guy's the truth. But I wouldn't sleep on Texas and Quinn Ewers and how well he's played. Outside of a couple of games where he was playing through injury, Quinn Ewers has looked really damn good and was at one point himself in the Heisman conversation. I know that Jonathan Brooks, the running back, is not there, but it seems to be business as usual. They plugged in, maybe more by committee, but a couple other running backs, and it doesn't look like they've particularly missed a beat. The thing that I would worry about with Texas is if Xavier Worthy is playing. I'm assuming he is from a lot of the injury stuff that I've seen. He's coming along really well. and he's the guy that rips the top off of the defense. I expect this game to be a shootout. It's going to be really fun. And I'm going to pick Texas to win it.
All right. Now, quick, one answer each. Fiesta Bowl, Liberty versus Oregon. Who wins?
Oregon.
All right. Capital One Orange Bowl, Georgia taking on Florida State.
Georgia.
All right. On Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Ole Miss versus Penn State.
Ole Miss versus Penn State. Boy, that is a tough one. I'll go Ole Miss.
All right. In the Cotton Bowl, Missouri versus Ohio State.
Missouri versus Ohio State. I'm going to go Missouri. I think it means more.
Oh, okay.
I think it means more to them.
All right. And the championship on Monday, January 8th, presented by AT&T. Who do you have winning the championship? You've got Texas and you've got Michigan.
They can't put me in this position because I'm just going to be a homer.
1 minute.
I'm taking Texas, man.
All right. He's taking Texas to win it all. And you heard it here first. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Keon Rose is taking Texas all the way.
I'm going to be a massive homer, damn it. I usually am not. I'm usually pretty even keel about my teams. But you've never seen any of my teams have a chance to win a championship. So that's where things get a little bit different. And I have a little, not a little, I have a lot more trouble being objective here.
All right. We've got a quick minute here. Let's go ahead and do on this date in Big Georgia sports history. Back in 2013, Peyton Manning finished 32 completions and 51 attempts with 400 yards and 4 touchdown passes to set the single season touchdown mark in the Denver Broncos win over the Houston Texans 37-13. Manning with 51 touchdown passes surpassed Tom Brady, who threw 50 in 2007. Back to you, Randy. All right. Thanks, Big George. And Merry Christmas to you all. I got to tell you, we've got a couple of minutes left here, and it has been a joy, an absolute joy to be on the radio every day this year and to get to know the Fourth Dimension as we have, to get to spend time with the Fourth Dimension. And even though most of them are probably not listening because Jeffrey's not here, let's just go out and say it, Keon. I'd like to wish everybody a safe, wonderful, and Merry Christmas. And also, when we come back next year, we're going to have a great week leading up to 2024. It is my prayer and wish for all of you to have a fantastic new year, to have a safe and profitable and fortuitous new year. And may you all be blessed with great health, great wealth, and a great time in 2024. Keon, anything you want to say to the Fourth Dimension as we get ready to say goodbye before Christmas?
Yeah, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I can't believe that this is a job I get to do. And, all of the members of the Fourth Dimension that I get to go back and forth with, it's been fun. The jokes have been fun. The poking fun at each other and razzing each other. That's been fun. It's all been a blast, and I look forward to more of it next year. But for the time that you guys are spending with your families, I hope it's great. I hope it's fantastic. Merry Christmas and whatever other holidays you celebrate this time of year.
Big George on the text line at 888-368-1580. Merry Christmas to you, Randy. Merry Christmas to you, Keon. Merry Christmas to Jeffrey, and even Merry Christmas to Ralph. Yes, indeed. Want to thank Ralph for being on the show throughout the year. I know he's out I think he's golfing today. I think that's why
you know what? He did mention that.
He's golfing today, and so he's probably on the course. I hope he's shooting over par and really frustrated with the game of golf. But listen, Ralph is a good dude, and I wish him all the best. Of course, Jeffrey and his family, I wish them all the best. Keon, I wish you all the best. And Fourth Dimension, thank you all for being a part of one of the most interactive radio programs alive today. The Daily Blender's been around for, 2 decades. Jeffrey started it and has built it from literally nothing and brought it up to where it is today. And I'm just pleased as punch to be a part of this radio program. It has been so much fun. I've got to meet so many great people over the years. And I want to wish you and yours and your family a very happy holiday and wonderful holiday season. Fish Tank, I hope you're having a great holiday season. Don't forget this weekend on the Daily Blender, or on the big flamethrower. Sorry about that. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Bengals at Steelers, 6 p.m., Bills at Chargers. And then on Sunday, it is a doubleheader when the Browns take on the Texans at 10:30, and the Patriots face the Broncos at 5:30. Then on Christmas Day, here on the big flamethrower, Raiders at Chiefs at 10:30, Giants at Eagles at 2, and Ravens at 49ers at 6 p.m. That's the lineup this weekend. And until we meet again next week on Tuesday, thank you all again, and Merry Christmas to you all, and have a blessed holiday and a safe holiday. Please drink responsibly. We want to see you back. Remember what Jeffrey always says: if we lose one of you, we lose ratings. So be careful out there. Hope you have a lot of fun. Merry Christmas, everybody. We're just going to let the music take us out. God bless you, and have a great Christmas holiday. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.